Context. Let me just say, I can only give so much context because I'm still navigating it. I'm not yet divorced. God, I'm anxious. So I've been suggesting things for quite a while about me getting a divorce, but I haven't actually said it. Now I've said it online, and my God, I'm being dragged. The internet is taking me by my ponytail and dragging me, right? And you know what? You might think, why is she laughing? Or there's people who are saying, oh, all this is for internet and for clout. And you couldn't be further from the truth. So here's the context. And again, this is the reason why I'm giving you context. One, I don't owe anybody anything. I have only lived my marriage, and so is the other person. However, I'm a content creator. I chose to share my life. I don't really like it when others give everything and then just unmute. You know what I'm saying? And that doesn't mean you need to give everything, but just address it. And I'm addressing it. I'm owning it, right? But not just that. I'm being dragged.
All right. Hey, guys. Welcome to Little Blackbird 91. Listen, I've got a special live for you guys. Special one. You know, I'm on my bag when it comes to these relationships, okay? This young lady here, Aliyah, I think it's Aliyah, right? If I'm correctly. I know I'm going to mess up people's names and stuff, right? But yeah, this young lady here who is divorcing her husband, right? After 10 years. Now, what's really interesting about this conversation, okay? What's interesting about this conversation is the fact that she has come onto the internet to tell us this information, but she's an internet content creator herself, right? Now, she went viral because there was a particular video that she dropped, which obviously was showing her being very happy about her divorcing her husband. And the caption was, clapping for myself for choosing to leave my 10-year marriage because the unknown seems better. In fact, let me even show you what that particular thing was. This is a video. I can't play the audio because I'll get you'll get thingy. So this is a video that obviously went viral, right? This is the video. Now you can't hear any sounds because I don't want to get into trouble. But it's just music in the background, right? So that video went viral at the time, and obviously people then dragged it, right? Now the problem is that the caption, what it said was, the caption actually said, clapping for myself for choosing to leave my 10-year marriage because the unknown seems better than settling out of familiarity, safety, and comfortability. I'm going to tell you something. Ladies, please pay attention. Before you divorce, make sure your trauma is not taking you out of a relationship. Let me say it one more time. Before you divorce, make sure your trauma is not taking you out of a relationship. Okay? Now, the internet, the ladies are going to get behind this young lady and be like, yes, sis, we feel the exact same way. We're like single mothers in a marriage. Look, there are women who are generally single mothers in a marriage, and I would agree with you. After a while, get rid. But I knew by the way she was talking, and I listened to it 2 times, I said, something's not quite right. When I'm listening to what she's saying, I said, there's something deeper behind it, and she's not taking any accountability. And you know how I feel about people who don't take accountability when they tell a story? I already know that you're not going to tell me the full thing, which means you've not taken time to figure out what happened in this relationship and how it fell down, which is more than likely means you're going to repeat the same mistakes again. If you can only tell me what you did, what they did, and not tell me what actually happened, where you contributed and how it fell down, I already start feeling some type of way. But the listening to what she said, I said, we need to pay attention. So this is part 1 of 2, because in part 2, I need to break down the real truth. I'm seeing people doing videos already. I saw another brother, shout out to the brother, he actually does really good videos. There's a brother called Defendant. I do apologize, his name is not in my head. Something Defendant, who usually drops good videos, right? About feminism and women as well. He dropped a video about this, right? But I knew straight away that this particular video, there was going to be an issue. By the grace of God, thank you very much, Rachel. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. God bless you. You know what I'm saying to you? God bless you. She says here, thank you. You're being greatly appreciated. Continue to let the light shine. Keep standing on God's word and give godly wisdom. Thank you very much, Rochelle. I appreciate you. Thank you very much. Okay. So I knew straight away that as soon as I listened to this, that people will take it because they're not listening to what's happening behind what she's saying. When I coach people, I listen to what's happening behind what you're saying. Right now, this video here, if you take this video, the ladies were in the comment section saying, yeah. And I was like, they're not listening. They're only hearing how she feels, but they're not listening. Okay. When you start to listen to people, you start to hear behind the message what's really going on. Okay. So let's listen a bit this, and then I'm gonna play a second clip. I'm not gonna go too deep into it. That's for part 2, but I want you to pay attention to what's being shown to you now. Okay, let's play into it.
for many reasons, which is just not the reason why I ended the divorce. But the biggest reason of all is the amount of messages I've got from people you cannot even believe. Now, I don't want to drag anyone else into this. It's nothing to do with the other people, but those happy households that you see online, offline, people you grew up with, their parents, they're messaging me saying, I wish I could have done what you did 20 years ago. So I feel I need to make this video because it just tells me that what I did and why it wasn't an easy decision to say, no, I don't want this marriage anymore. And even when I did, I didn't care about the internet's validation, but I knew that one day I might think, will I regret this? Won't I regret this? And just getting messages from all the households that have been married for 40, 50 years saying, I wish I could have had the courage to do it 20 years ago. Now it's too late. It breaks my heart because it's never too late. So.
Well, let's pause it first and foremost. Let me be fair to her. I need to give you a background. If you don't know the background, let me give you a background. First and foremost, she's been married for 10 years. The gentleman she got married to is from a Muslim background. She's from a Jamaican background. Now, that's two different backgrounds I just said there. But his faith is a Muslim background, right? But he's not. I don't think he's necessarily practicing. So that's why they're going to be okay. But when he met her to get married, she was 18, he was 25. I have to be very fair, right? So I want to start there first and foremost. When they met, she's 18, he's 25. When he got married, I think she was 19 or so, right? About 19 when she got married, okay? So I have to give that background. That means we're in two different arenas, you know what I'm saying too, right? Because I don't think she's a Muslim, right? But I didn't hear anything about her being a Muslim per se. I think she might have converted a little bit or something like that, but I didn't hear her from the beginning being a Muslim, right? But we know that his background, obviously his faith is from a Muslim background, right? And I say that because sometimes, just like Christians, people carry their faith as part of their culture, right? And the way they do things. That's why I mentioned that. Okay. But 1825 is already a little bit of a ooh, right? It's a little bit of a ooh. It's 7 years, but it's the early 7 years. So it's like you're still formulating who you are. Now, we also have to understand this. She has a toxic mother who passed away way later in the marriage. So that's not really important, but she grew up with a toxic mother. Now, I need to go and watch that video. I haven't watched it all the way through. But that toxic mother played a big role in the way that she deals with things. Okay. Now, this is another aspect of the relationship. All right. Her mother and the damage her mother did to her, raised up as a single mother. Yeah, that's something also on there, right? And then we have to talk about the fact that she also, I believe, is ADHD. She says she's ADHD as well, which is going to play a role in it, right? I have to take all of that into account first and foremost. Like I said, this is not about blaming anybody. We're not blaming her or him. What I want to highlight for anybody watching is before you jump, make sure that you're not the issue, because you'll jump and you'll go and do it again, right? You'll go and do it again, or you have to learn way later on. Okay. Now, she's going to let you know this is not a relationship where he's been abusive. This is not a relationship where he speaks down to her. This is not a relationship where he's a narcissist. This is not a relationship where, he is mean or rude. He's none of those things. The reason why she's divorcing, you're going to hear it, but I want to make it very clear. That's just a foundation. He's not a narcissist. He's not an abuser. He's not cheating on her. He's not financially robbing her, emotionally abusing. None of those things. Okay. All right. And before I hear it, Kelly, but the reason why I said that we have to listen, as much as I love public offender, is that you have to listen deeper than what you hear, what a woman tells you to do. As I've coached people, times that when women tell you things, they are telling you from their perspective, but it takes two to tango. You cannot have one side of the story and think you can resolve it. Whenever you hear only one side of the story, you have to go and see the other side. And she actually gives us the other side. I'm gonna play that clip for you, that video. There's a video where you had a conversation and you're gonna see how chaotic she is. And then you'll understand why I said it takes two to tango. So let's listen to what she's saying though first.
I actually asked for a divorce over a year ago. So that everyone who's saying it's like, I don't know. I mean, again, this video is not for those people. They're gonna drag me regardless. This will be clipped up and be dragged. I'm dragged. I'm dragged on the internet. But I asked for a marriage over a year ago. I mean, not married, a divorce. I asked for a divorce over a year ago. Now, I do want to say I did get married at a young age, but I don't really feel like that played a humongous part in the reason why I chose divorce today. What I do want to say is when I met what's going to be my ex-husband, my children's father, and he met me, we both had different needs. We were both in a different time in our lives, and we've grown through different parts of our lives over 10 whole freaking years. So actually, before we get into this, let me just give this disclaimer. You're all going to say, why didn't you put this video out first? I had no intention of making this video. And the reason why I had no intention is because I didn't want it to be a massive drag fest of my ex-husband or soon to be ex-husband. I don't want it to be a drag fest. I don't want it to feel like you have to pick a side. And I've seen so many households where they separate and the kids feel like they pick a side, or the parents are point scoring. We're not in that situation. So this is why I didn't want to do it. But I'm doing it now because I feel it's necessary, but also because of the other women. I don't want to, I can't physically respond to everybody. Again, I'm being dragged. So there's so many notifications on my phone. I just can't respond to anybody. So when I married him and he married me, we had different needs. I worked 3 jobs. He had his 9-to-5 job. I didn't know what I wanted to do for a career, and that was fine. I was still really young. So I pulled my weight by just working 3 different jobs, and he pulled his weight by working his one job, which was his career. Fine. Hats off to you.
Let's pause it right there first and foremost. I want you to slow it down. Okay? All right? We have to slow it down because we need to be able to listen. First and foremost, what did she just say to us? She said, obviously, in the beginning of the relationship, she had 3 jobs. He had the 1. Now, the reason why I'm saying is because as I do a lot of attachment work with clients and stuff, you have to start listening to some of the noise that's happening underneath it. Someone at 19 or 18 had, or whatever, how early the relationship was when she started, or whatever, right? 3 jobs. Now, even if you need money, 3 jobs at that young age is already telling us something. Before you think that he's not pulling his financial weight, that's never been their issue. Finances have never been an issue. I want to make it very clear to anybody who's listening. Finances have never been their issue. She tells us that. Money's not the issue. But she had 3 jobs. Why would somebody at that young have 3 jobs? I'm telling you about the mindset. I want to get you into the mindset straight away. To have 3 jobs at that time. Remember, this is not America where you have a school loans. So she's not paying off school loans. Okay? All right? She's not paying off school loans. She's not, you know what I mean? There's something happening behind the scenes as to why you're now want to work 3 jobs so somebody's 1. I'm just wanting to highlight that again.
What I will say is, over the years, when you have a family, dynamics change. You know, when people say, like, you don't know anyone until you live with them. No, you don't know anyone until you have a child with them. And that's not me saying have a child and find out who they are. What I'm saying is living with someone is a walk in the park. Having a baby with them is another. I think what happened is, so let me be clear, because lots of people are also doubting some of the content as well that's been online. And I don't ever want you to doubt that. I asked for this divorce over a year ago. You probably will have seen we've taken family trips. We celebrated our son's birthdays together. That wasn't a lie. We wasn't pretending for the camera. It's because we're trying to co-parent. And I do hope that when this is completely ironed out and we're both in our separate homes, we still continue to co-parent. I don't want it to be, you know, you go to your dad for this, you come to your mum for me. No, like, you know, if our kids are doing something, let's text each other, let's get together, let's celebrate our kids together. Let's, whether we have another relationship or not. And let's be real, we probably are going to have other relationships. I'm fucking 28 years old. He's 35 years old. We're probably going to have more relationships. However, I don't want anything after this point to jeopardize what we've created. This is the reason why it's taken a year for me to even say it aloud, because I've tried to take a different approach to this divorce. And this is what the internet has got so wrong. So let's just rewind. I'm going to put a clip here of a TikTok that I posted. I posted it on TikTok, I posted it on Instagram. The world has gone mad.
Well, hold on. I can't let the sound go because they're going to get me. They're going, copyright going to be on my ass. Hold on. Okay, hold on. There we go.
Tapping so hard is because I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of myself for not just saying it to myself, for not just saying it aloud, but for following through with it. So my needs always felt fulfilled in this marriage. When I was younger. When I was younger, though, I was going out with my friends. Like I said, I had 3 jobs. I had, you know, I'm living for myself. So anything that may have been missing or felt missing, it's less noticeable when you've got so much going on. But when you have a baby with somebody, and naturally, most people who become mothers, they don't continue to live the life they lived before they were pregnant. And I definitely didn't. So now I'm a mom. I'm a housewife. I'm a working housewife. Like,
let's pause it right here. And the reason I'm going to pause it right here is because before some women jump to the barrel, and I know that's not, you're not my audience. I know my audience how we are. We're deep thinkers, so we listen and we actually understand. Before women who are listening outside of this ecosystem that we've built jump to a place and say, I totally know how she feels. As a mom, you lose yourself. That's not what, listen to what she's really saying to you, right? Before that, she worked 3 jobs. Okay, she was all over the place because she needs to be on the go. Now, you guys know I've talked to you about attachment styles. When we talk about attachment styles, this is the anxious or the fearful avoidant attachment style, where they are constantly on the go. They don't know how to stop, because if they stop, they have to think about the fact that they have to think about their life and what they actually bring to the table. When I say bring to the table, not to the relationship, as in their own value system. They have to start questioning themselves. You see, because anxious people tend to value themselves based on external relationships and based upon whatever they are doing in terms of how much can I do this? How much can I serve? How much can I move? How much can I do this? They're always on the go. The anxiety forces them to not sit still. The moment they have to sit still, they have to confront themselves. And the problem is that before this point, she was cool. Once she had kids, now you're going to have to face yourself. Here's why. Because you are now trapped. And one word that especially fearful avoidants do not like is the word trapped. Okay? All right? That would be trapped. And what I'm listening to, I'm hearing, I'm like, okay, so what happens when you have kids? Well, you have to slow down. You cannot rush around and do all the madness. Now you're going to have to be forced to confront yourself and see what's really going on with you. But if you're not accountable, you will think it's the other person, not realizing how you show up to a relationship and what you contribute towards it. But when you have 3 jobs and you're busy and you're living your life in a relationship where it's like we have nothing else that's holding us down, there's no real responsibility, you are forced to look at yourself. Okay? You're forced to look at yourself. So I want to make it very clear. I'm not discounting. I want to make it very clear. We are not discounting that women do lose themselves in marriages. We're not discounting that. What I'm trying to highlight to you is listen to deeper beyond just that, because there was something before that point to get to there. Do you get what I'm saying to you? Right? There's something before this point. Listen.
I've worked in finance for 8 years. So when you take that, I do my finance job, and then I'm a mom, and then I'm a wife. Outside of that, there's not much more going on because I'm choosing to put all my energy into those 3 things: work, motherhood, marriage, right? It reached a point in my marriage where I just didn't feel seen anymore. And that's nothing. No, I don't want it to be like, oh, it's all him. This is not a point scoring fest. Let me stress that so much. It's not all him. I've made mistakes. He's made mistakes, but we've always had such a healthy, happy marriage. We've never had any like infidelity or anything like that. However,
let's pause it right there. First and foremost, let's pause it right here, because if you start telling me, this is why when I coach people, I'm like, you won't want to come to me because I have to call you out. If you come to me and tell me we've always had a great marriage, either you haven't had always a great marriage and you're not being honest, or you have and something shifted and we need to be able to rectify what's going on. So if you come and you say, listen, we've always had a great marriage. Before this point, you've always been seen. You've always had this, etc., etc. Right? Okay? You've always had those things. Okay? Like again, and yes, no cheating doesn't mean it's necessarily healthy. But you're telling us it's been great. Something's about to flip. So we need to be able to understand what's flipped. Okay? So now she's telling us she hasn't been seen. Right? And she says that it's on both sides. But I want you to listen. Will you ever hear what she ever did wrong? Because that's very important. If you're telling me it's on both sides and you can see it's both sides, I'm going to guarantee you that if that person doesn't tell you what side they were also bringing to the issue, they actually don't see both sides. It's a how do we say this? It's a condiment to the conversation. You're kind of just saying it as a platitude. That's the right word. You're saying it as a platitude, but it really and truly it's cheap flattery. It's like to make sure that no one can get at you. It's like, well, actually, it was both of us. Oh, is it? Okay, well then tell us what you did. So we also know that you know what he did. I don't want it to be that you attack him. I don't want you to be on it. But yet we have not heard anything yet. So we have not heard anything yet. What have you done too? Because you tell us you now know that there's both sides of the story. Okay, so let's continue.
I just stopped feeling seen in the marriage. And when you put that with being a mom, I just think it's a recipe for disaster. So myself and my kid's dad, we've tried for a long time, and everything you've seen of us has been absolutely it. However, one person can't build a wall by themselves. You know, you need the other person to show up for you, right? And
let's pause it right here again. Okay, so we got two things right now. Let me write my notes, because if I don't, I'm going to forget what I just said. Okay, let me give me some notes. Let me put my notes down. Okay, she tells two things. Okay, it's really important. She tells two things. She said she's not being seen. Okay, and she's not being seen, and she feels that the other person's not pulling their emotional weight. Okay, so not being seen, and the other person is not pulling their emotional weight, apparently. Okay, I'm saying this because when I bring the second video, you're going to see something, and you're going to understand why I'm pulling this up. So when someone tells you a story, this is why when I'm coaching people, when they tell me a story, I'm like, okay, what's the other side? We need to know the other side, because you present it the way that you do because you have a perspective, because it's your life. It's from your eyes. You don't often see how you impact other people. So she tells two things now.
I don't feel I was being showed up for like that. And again, it's nothing. I'm not trying to drag him. He doesn't need to be dragged. He just wasn't fulfilling me anymore as a person. But anyway, I had my second baby. I had my first baby in lockdown. So all I had to do is survive. So that was easy for me. Everybody who, I wasn't on social media when I first had my first baby, but all my friends were like, when you have a baby,
hold on, sorry.
It's going to hit you. All I had to do is survive. So that was easy for me. Everybody who, I wasn't on social media.
Apologies, sorry, hold on.
I don't feel I was being showed up for like that. And again, it's nothing. I'm not trying to drag him. He doesn't need to be dragged. He just wasn't fulfilling me anymore as a person. But anyway,
I want to pause it here. Okay. Here's what I'm going to tell you why I have to pause it here. And I don't know if I had the clip where she said it. Yes, I'm going to show you. Okay, Lord, I need you guys to be on job with me. Stick with me, okay? Because when people drop these videos, you have to. The more information you get, the more you get to understand what's really happened, right? Now she just told us something. I just need to pay attention to this. Listen again.
That, and again, it's nothing. I'm not trying to drag him. He doesn't need to be dragged. He just wasn't fulfilling me anymore as a person. But anyway, I had my second baby. I had my first baby in lockdown.
Pause right there. Okay. She tells us he wasn't fulfilling her anymore. Okay. All right. I need you to hold that down, because what I'm about to show you, how difficult this situation is about to become. Because she's saying that he's not fulfilling her anymore, which will, and if you didn't have any other evidence, you'd be like, well, men don't listen sometimes, men are not being seen emotionally, wasn't there for her, he wasn't showing up the way he needs to show up for her. We can say those things, and they're actually real. Men sometimes do not show up for you in the right ways, and they don't sometimes get it right. They miss it because they're thinking too logically and not thinking about the emotional weight of a relationship. Okay? They're not thinking about the emotional weight of the relationship. Okay, so let me just go to this clip quickly. I need you to listen to this. This is on another podcast. This is the one on the podcast. They have a second one, right? And I want you to hear what's being said here. Okay, listen to the words. She just said she wasn't fulfilled, but I want you to listen, because that's what we're going to be doing.
Is he not saying it well enough or clear enough?
Okay.
I need you to understand something about me. I've experienced something in the time of growth. I didn't get to grow. So I truly believe that even now, when I get to 50 and 60, I don't think, like when you're teenage years, let's say from 12 to 19, you're 20, you find who you are. You do, you kind of see what sports you like what friends you want to hang out with. I think because I missed that, I don't think it delayed my 10-year window. I think it created like a limitless one, which can be incredibly unhealthy, right? And I need you to understand me as a person. I truly believe, and it's not that it's okay, but I'm just being honest. I truly believe that I'm never going to be fulfilled in that sense, like you are. But what breaks my heart is that every time I say that, you always
hold on. What did she just say? What did she just say? Now, she was telling us in the first video, I don't feel like he fulfilled me. Now, in this video, this is a year earlier. She's now having a conversation with her husband, and this is her husband, by the way, and they're talking, and she says, I don't feel like I'll ever be fulfilled. And I want to tell you this, people who have an insatiable hunger because their trauma doesn't allow them to be able to look at themselves. They look at other people as the issue. They place themselves in a victim mode. And actually, without fully looking at where they are contributing, but I'm going to play the clip again so you can listen to it one more time. Okay? I'm going to play the clip one more time so you can hear it in terms of what she's saying. I'm not blaming her. I'm merely trying to highlight something so that she can have the mirror to herself so she can see it.
God, I truly believe, and it's not that it's okay, but I'm just being honest. I truly believe that I'm never going to be fulfilled in that sense, like you are. But what breaks my heart is that every time I say that.
Wait, hold on. So he's fulfilled. I have to go back a little bit so I can give you a context of why this conversation is actually what happened before this conversation, because there's a lead up to this conversation, right? The conversation was talking about how he feels fulfilled in this marriage. Okay, he tells us that he feels fulfilled. I'm going to play the clip for you. He tells us that he feels fulfilled in his marriage. He feels like he's living the dream. He's got his wife. He's got his kids. You know what I'm saying, Chu? He's working the career he wants to work, right? He loves her. He cares about her. He wants the relationship to work long. And she's feeling a void. But the void is because she has trauma. There is a massive trauma that she's carrying from a toxic parent. And she does not, I don't think she fully clocks the impact of that trauma of that parent, that you can't sit still, that you don't feel valuable if you're if you're not always on the go. Right? I'm going to show you this now, right? Let's go further back. Because remember I told you she has 3 jobs? I want you to listen to this. Okay, hold on. I want to go further back. We're going to go further back on this thing. I'm doing my video early because you know what? We're here.
What's like now? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this is why this time I really came to terms with like, you know what? Me and this person like best friends. And like with all of that, I truly believe that we would have been best friends. Fucking hell. With all of that, I believe that we would have always been best friends, whether we stayed married or not, and whether we stay married or not. But I couldn't help but feel like this time, actually, maybe this person just knows too much about you, you know, and you know, so it's kind of like you're trying to protect me, but any human being's knee-jerk reaction is to protect themselves first.
Now let's pause it right there. I need you to listen with your ears on again. She just told us something. She just said, in fact, I'm going to play it again. I don't want to ruin it. I don't want to ruin it. Really listen to this. When it caught me,
maybe this person just knows too much about you, you know, and you know, so it's kind of like you're trying to protect me, but any human being's knee-jerk reaction is to protect themselves first. Do you understand?
Now, let me give you a context of what he said. Here's what happened. Okay. All right. Here's what happened. He was telling her to slow down because she moves too quickly. He said like every 3 years, you get a brand new idea and you want to go and do it. Not a problem because you throw your all into it. But he said you just need to slow it down, right? Because you kind of you go into a thing and you just run with it and you leave everyone else behind. You just kind of go with it. That's what he said, right? And then so he was saying that sometimes I can see you're about to burn out. So I tell you, stop because you're about to burn out, right? He will tell her, listen, stop. You're going to burn yourself out. Slow it down. Now, what she's telling him in response to the burnout is saying that, maybe you know me too well. And then she's obviously saying like, you know, your focus is to try and protect me. Don't protect me. And it's like, wait, what? And when someone's in a space about don't protect me, listen, there are times where people can go too far with the protection, we understand, right? But when someone cares about you and says, I can see you're about to burn out, and actually, you know, before you burn out, let me just kind of let me help you out, like slow it down. Like you don't have to rush and do everything in one go. And you say you don't have to protect me. That's because you don't like control, but you're reading something as someone protecting you as a control rather than actual protection. Because that's why she's forced it now to say, I don't need the protection. What do you mean you don't need protection? We all need protection. That's all we all need it. We're in a relationship, B. You get me? I'm gonna let you listen a bit more because it's predating that conversation.
So when I'm doing these catastrophic things, you understand a little bit why, but naturally you can't help but not understand because why are you having to feel this off the back of me, which is valid? You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Let's pause it there again. So as she admits herself, she does things that are quote unquote can be catastrophic, right? And he's trying to say, I want to protect you because you're about to do some catastrophic things that are going to affect the relationship, right? And now you're telling me I shouldn't protect you. I'm telling you, people like to self-sabotage in relationships, and when they are not accountable, they will blame you. They will blame you. If you're not willing to listen and you're not willing to take a stock and account of how you show up in a relationship and how you impact everybody else, you are going to ruin your relationship and blame somebody else and come on the internet and tell us about how you have to divorce after 10 years and I'm so much better for it. But you don't realize you're going to do the same thing again. Learn the lesson. Let's play a little bit more.
But then I couldn't help but feel like because of that relationship, we've trapped ourselves into like a loop. I just don't know how to break it. You know what I mean? Hence the reason why I have this like 3-year thing every single freaking 3 years. What do you think?
I don't know, man. I think like you know, I'm understanding of it, and you know, for me, I want to support you through all of it. Like that's my number.
Again, before he just starts, she already admitted that he's a very understanding man. I just need you to clock it. She already told us that he's a very understanding man. In that clip a few seconds ago, she said he's an understanding man. He now comes out and says, I understand you, right? When someone tells you that their partner is a very understanding partner, and then they come out and the partner also comes and says, I am understanding of you, and we get a year later talking about how you don't feel seen, I'm going to tell you that it's probably not your partner. It is something that you're doing. You are not seeing you. That's not to do with your partner. You need to start plugging the hole that's in your own heart and start looking within. You need some therapy. You need to start looking within. This is why when I said that original the video that went viral and the one that Public Offender did, I didn't have a problem with it because I understood where he was coming from. When I watched it, I said there's something deeper though, and I said I have to go and watch some other videos. Let's see what video she's got. And this video came up, and I said, oh, now I see it. As I was jogging on my jog, and I was listening, I was like, what's this? You get me? Because I'm hearing stuff. Listen more.
One priority, and like I've told you before that sometimes I feel like I go by the wayside in order to do that. But I just think I think sometimes when these like shifts happen in your interest, in your, I'll just call it your drive and direction, and you're not like some person who just like picks something up and drops it. Like you'll pick it up and you'll run with it to the fullest extent until it's not giving you anything anymore,
100%.
and you evolve. And I love that about you. But I think the only thing that I wish you did would be just like,
oh God.
I don't know. The only thing I wish you did was, I think, I don't know. I just think, you're not going to do this to me. Bob, you're not going to do this to me. You're not going to do this to me. Right. So I just wish that you'd realize that, like,
Don't.
just let me go, man. I just wish you'd realize that I'm living my dream and just let me be. Like, I have.
What do you mean by
let me finish.
Okay.
I'll tell you. Like,
by the way, she does this all out through the whole. It's an hour-long video. She does this a lot. She interrupts him. And let me just say this as well for any lady listening, because this is really important. Like I get on the men all the time, but if you're somebody who always interrupts your partner, you're annoying. I'm gonna call it out straight away. If you know you're somebody that always interrupts people, you are annoying. But not only are you annoying, I want to tell you something. You actually destroy the connection between you and your partner. Because what happens is after a while, the person can't connect with you because every single time I'm about to share my heart, you cut in. Like, baby, come on. Come on, give me a chance to participate in this, right? Now, if you go and watch this hour-long video, you'll see it. Like, even the comments are saying the same thing. Like, and there's only like 62 comments. So it's like, everyone says the same thing. Like, she keeps cutting across him. And it's because you're too fast and you're already trying to anticipate what he's going to say. Slow it down. Slow it down. Stop rushing. This is what I'm talking about, the whole rushing thing. It's why I showed you at the very beginning of the relationship of the video. I said 3 jobs. Okay, now he's telling us about every 3 years something's changing. It's because this person doesn't know how to sit. They don't like consistency, right? I shouldn't say it that way, but they almost feel like they don't like consistency. Okay, right? And it's like the reason why you can't do the consistency is because when you have to be consistent, you have to show up. See, you can't just renew something. That of course there's going to be things we can change to make it, refreshing and all those kind of things. Yes, but if you're not somebody who can't be consistent, I
have you, I have the kids, I have the family that I always wished and I wanted to have. And like I told you before, that's me making it. And the only things I really care about are, can I give you guys everything that we wanted and that you deserve. Anyway, don't. Like, that's all I want to do. And I feel like sometimes you'll find something and you'll be like, right, I'm going to the moon and back with this. And I'm like, amazing. Phone finger, let's go. You're number 1 fan. Come on. Like, whatever you need. And it's like, and when I'm in my when I'm just there enjoying who we are and what we have, it's kind of like, you're not moving at this pace and bloody, bloody, blah. And it just feels like the fact that I'm content with I won't say what we have, because you know me, I'm ambitious. There's things I want to do. There's huge things that I want to achieve for us. But the fact that for me, this is my dream, and it's like you feel like
the dream is not big enough for me.
Yeah, and I feel like, I feel like you're constantly dragging me with you. You think I'm apathetic to the extra stuff. I'm like, no, whatever we need to do, we'll do. But sometimes, you know, when, like, let's say we're sitting around and I'm just literally looking at you and the kids, I'm in awe. I can't believe I have this beautiful family.
I would tear it up.
Now let's pause. I need to pause. I need you to pause. Do you know what? I'm going too far into this video. I'm going too far in the video because later on in the video, this video, she goes and says, I don't feel like you're in awe of me. Right? One of her issues at the end of this video is that she doesn't feel like he's in awe of her. And he's telling her, I'm in awe of you. Now, the reality of the situation is, right, sometimes people don't believe what you're saying to be true. Some people don't believe that what you're saying to be true. They don't believe it because they're always waiting. And I love what Elsa said there. They're always waiting for the shoe to drop. Do you know who that is? Usually fearful avoidance. Fearful avoidance are usually waiting for the shoe to drop. They're always waiting for, when are you going to be the monster? When are you going to come out and be the big bad wolf? When are you going to become this nasty person, that toxic person, so that I can, but we're not seeing none of that, rude boy. Right? We're not seeing none of that right now. Now, I'm not saying he's perfect. Please don't get what I'm saying to you, think he's being perfect. He's not being perfect. What I'm saying to you is there is something else happening. There's something else happening. And sometimes you need to look at you and the way you're showing up. The man is telling you, I'm in awe of you. The man's almost breaking down and crying in front of you in this video. I'm telling you something. There's something not quite right. Right?
Yeah, but you know what I mean? And you're like, and you know, you sometimes
what are you staring at? No,
yeah, what are you staring at? What are you doing? Like, you're not present. Sometimes I'm just smelling the roses. Like,
sorry to speak over you, but this is what I've
again. She did it again. She did it again. Like, honestly, the brother's telling you, I'm in awe of you, and he's telling you, I'm even standing there. Sometimes just looking at you, I'm in awe. And then he says, and sometimes you'll respond and say, what the hell are you looking at? You just destroyed the connection. Is it like you are sabotaging your relationship? You are sabotaging your relationship when you do stuff like this, right? And they talk about it as well. She talks about it a little bit later on about the difference in the way that he connects, and he tells her this why they don't connect. Again, I don't want to go too far because I'm going to do a separate video for this number 2, but I want to bring this as evidence.
And you know, you sometimes you're like,
staring at. No,
yeah, what are you staring at? What are you doing? Like, you're not present. Sometimes I'm just smelling the roses. Like,
sorry to speak over you. But
and it comes back to what I said about being still. Some people cannot be still. Okay? Some people cannot be still. They don't know how to be present and still. Because when that stillness comes in, it's like too much noise comes in. And when you've not healed your trauma, you're always expecting there to be, especially if you're born into a place of chaos. When there is no chaos, you're looking for chaos. You want there to be chaos. You create chaos. And it's like, yo, and you don't realize you're sabotaging your own relationship.
this is what we've said this quite a lot, you know, over 10 years. And we always go back and forth on this. And it always saddens me that you always think this. And I always say this to you, but you've obviously not been hearing me because you're still saying it now, which is fine. It's not an issue that you're saying it now.
Now listen. I want you to listen carefully to this point. This is going to prove my point about people not listening. She's going to say something which I believe is contradictory. She's going to say, you don't hear me out when I tell you that I'm okay with you just being in awe, right? Basically just standing there listening. Listen to how she's going to flip it, because I believe she's about to contradict herself. Okay, so I'm going to just listen to this.
But it's an issue that I'm obviously, oh God, I'm going to fucking cry again. What is wrong with me? It's an issue that I'm obviously not saying it well enough or clear enough. I need you to understand something about me. I've experienced something in the time of growth. I didn't get to grow. So I truly believe that even now when I get to 50 and 60, I don't think, you know, like when you're teenage years, let's say from 12 to 19, you're 20, you find who you are. You do, you kind of see what sports you like what friends you want to hang out with. I think because I missed that, I don't think it delayed my 10-year window. I think it created like a limitless one, which can be incredibly unhealthy, right? And I needed to understand me as a person. I truly believe and it's not that it's okay, but I'm just being honest. I truly believe that I'm never going to be fulfilled in that sense, like you are. But what breaks my heart is that every time I say that, you always think it's a reflection of what I expect of you. Like, don't get me wrong, you could move much quicker when doing dishes and shit. You really could. Like, and I said to you this morning, for example, I came down and you're just like, you like that? You're kind of like blasé, right? But this is the difference, and it just hit me then. You said, I'm just at peace. I've never felt that peace. And that's
Thank you. There we go. There we go. There we freaking go. That is the issue. I want you to understand. When I tell you this, I'm telling you it's not for them. I'm telling you for you if you're watching this, because you might think you're okay. And I want you to understand you're not okay. There's a lot of us who are not okay. We come into a relationship, we think to ourselves, I'm so great. It's if it goes wrong, it's not me, it's them. No, you are the issue. You don't have no peace. Can you deep that? If you don't have no peace within you, how do you think you're going to be okay when someone else has peace? You will not be okay. If you don't have peace within you and you see someone else who's at peace, it makes you feel uncomfortable. It makes you feel uncomfortable. Right? Now she said, oh, you think it's about you. Of course it's about me, because you just told me that you will never be fulfilled and you'll never be at peace the same way I'm at peace. What else am I going to look at? You know what I'm saying to you?
That's not a reflection of you or our children. But I think
she's right about that. It's not a reflection of him or the children. That's an inner issue that she has, which is why I said to you, when she drops the video about not being seen, are you sure you're not being seen or you're not seeing you? The question is, you're talking about him not seeing you. Are you not seeing you? Don't flip it onto him. Is it because you're not seeing you? And that's actually a bigger issue. I can't fix that one for you. If you're not seeing you, I can't fix that for you. You can only fix that for you. But you flipping it onto me. This is what I'm telling you about the accountability aspect. We need to be accountable.
What a reflection of? I think my peace will come when I'm completely healed. My own trauma.
Yeah.
But I've come to the reality that I don't think I ever will be. Hence the reason why I'll always have this thing where I want to do something else. I just want to move on once I finish. You know what I mean? It's not as though I invest something for a week and move on. I want to invest for 3 years. But once I finish, I finish. I want to do the next thing. And I think that is where we're disconnecting, because, I don't get frustrated with your level of peace with yourself or your life. I don't understand it. This is the issue.
Let's pause right there again. Right? What she doesn't understand, do you think she's going to be okay with? Right? What she doesn't understand, if I'm rolling with you and I don't understand your level of peace, I'm not comfortable with myself. I'm not at peace, and I don't understand your peace. More than likely, my energy of not understanding your peace is going to flare onto you. My energy of not understanding you is going to fall onto you. Okay? And so this is an aspect of where she needs to do self-evaluation. Don't be looking at someone else. Self-evaluate. And I'm telling the audience this as an audience, because I've coached a lot of people. If you are going to be talking about someone else and you don't realize what you contribute, you've missed it. Stop looking at the other person about what they're doing and start looking at, what do I actually need to do? What am I doing? What am I needing here? What are my wants? What are my needs? Yes. And what am I bringing to the table? Do you see what I'm saying to you? Right? So that needs to be worked through. It needs to be worked through. Like, she can do this, and she can have done this when she was 24, 25. It won't make no difference if you don't heal those parts of you. Okay? All right? If you don't heal those parts of you, it doesn't matter whether she's 18, whether she's 25, whether she's 35. People that don't look to actively work on themselves and be self-aware about how they purport themselves and bring themselves into relationships will always do the same thing over and over and over again. And she will definitely feel happy right now. Look, her being single right now and being alone, she's definitely happy. It won't last though, because the same hole that you've not fixed will come back again. It's an insatiable hunger until you begin to stitch the hole and heal the underlying issues.
Get it? Like sometimes you're like, let's just go and stand there and look at the fucking, I don't know. I'm like, why would I ever want to do that? And then
Pause. I want to pause it again. I'm going to go back a little bit. She just told us, yeah, she's okay with him being at peace. You know, it's not about you. You know, I don't care about you. You just do your thing, right? Listen. And I want you to listen, because when you listen, you hear underneath what she's really saying to you. Okay. All right. She said, listen, I don't mind you doing your thing. I'm happy you go and watch your buildings. Listen to what she's actually saying, because it sounds insulting. Imagine I say, I don't really care what you do. You just go and do what you want to do. Whenever you say, I don't care, just go and do what you want to do. You're actually not showing any care for the person's thing that they like. Well, I don't care if you like the TV show. You just watch your TV shows. You're not showing any level of care for the person's liking. You know what I'm saying to you, right? But listen.
I think that is where we're disconnecting, because, sorry, I don't get frustrated with your level of peace with yourself or your life. I don't understand it. This is the issue. Do you get it? Like sometimes you're like, let's just go and stand there and look at the fucking, I don't know. I'm like, why would I ever want to do that? And then you are then taking it like, whatever I suggest is not good enough for her. We went out, we took our ass all the way to fucking home. You had me walking around these buildings, right? I don't even give a fuck about the building. I don't give a fuck when the building was built. That brings something to you, right?
Now let's pause it right there. Imagine someone sits in front of you and tells you, they said, listen, it says, oh, listen, you like to go and look at buildings and enjoy the peace. I don't really care about it. I don't give a fuck about it. Raw. So did you think I'm not gonna sense that energy? Did you think that you not giving an F about it? Do you think that energy will come up? It will not come onto me? Do you not think I'm gonna sense your energy? When someone doesn't give an F about something, their energy shows. The energy shows. So if you're telling me that you don't give a fuck about it, I don't give a fuck about it. Yeah, of course it's not. And imagine you listening to this and going to yourself, you have to come back in again and try and reconnect with your partner. They don't give a F about what you like. I don't give a F about what you like. I'll do it, but I don't give a F for what you like. Now, why am I showing you this part of it? Because I'm saying to you, when she comes on the internet and talks about how he's got issues, she doesn't say all the issues, but you're not taking accountability. I have to be like, okay, cool. There's more to the story. Right? Now, I don't know. How would you feel if your partner told you, I don't give a F about what you like? You know what I mean?
It don't bring something to me. But back then, you didn't know. Well, you did, but you didn't really know enough about me for it to have an impact on you. You would.
So let's pause it again. So back then, when she was doing this kind of behavior, it didn't impact him at the time. You know why it impacted him now? Because he cares about you. And because he's more vulnerable to you. Now he's more vulnerable to you, and now he's more caring about you. Yes, now I don't give a F about it situation is going to impact him more. At the very beginning, we can all brush things off, because at the very beginning of a relationships, we're all running on the honeymoon energy. Once that fades, our fears begin to kick up, and we want security and we want safety. Now, when I want to feel safe, if you then are doing these things at the beginning, I could have left it. But after a while, it starts to hit me differently. Right? So at the beginning, I can do it. Now, maybe one thing that he could have been accountable for is that he could have said, listen, I don't like the energy you're giving me in that space. And if we continue, right, it's not healthy for me. You know, maybe there can be a thing called too much understanding, where you give that person too much grace. I always say this, that you got to give people boundaries. You know what I'm saying to you? Okay, as well. So let's go slightly back so you can listen to it all the way through.
We went out, we took our ass all the way to fucking home. You had me walking around these buildings, right? I don't even give a fuck about the building. I don't give a fuck when the building was built. Yourself or your life. I don't understand it. This is the issue. Do you get it? Like sometimes you're like, let's just go and stand there and look at the fucking, I don't know. I'm like, why would I ever want to do that? And then you are then taking it like, whatever I suggest is not good enough for her. We went out, we took our ass all the way to fucking home. You had me walking around these buildings, right? I don't even give a fuck about the building. I don't give a fuck when the building was built. That brings something to you, right? It don't bring something to me. But back then, you didn't know. Well, you did, but you didn't really know enough about me for it to have an impact on you. You would always think, she's chaotic, her mind's busy, she's probably got ADHD because she don't sit still. You really thought I was a bit chaotic. But my behavior or my lack of interest in certain things, but although I'm still participating with you, never impacted you. And now I'm thinking about it. we had a shift in our marriage where this thing that I've always displayed to you, and that doesn't not me saying I've done it all the time, so be okay with it still, but this thing that I've always displayed to you, it changed. And the thing that I always displayed to you then began to reflect on how you felt I saw you.
Yeah, because your energy eventually caught up with him. Now that's where he needed to be. That's where he needed to be honest. Where he needed to be honest at the very beginning was saying that it actually affected him. Now I think he's got probably a bit of a dismissive, avoidant attachment. I know he's sitting there very cool. It looks very secure, but I'm listening to, and I when I listen to, it, I think he's got a bit of a dismissive, avoidant attachment. That's what makes him so cool. But you know, yeah, at the beginning when you were doing that chaoticness, this is also funny. This reminds me of the me, El Cid, Sean kind of conversation when we talk about we're talking about what's her name from Love Is Blind, Ramses and whatever the girl's name, I forgot her name is, whatever, right? The same thing is what we're talking about. That when you deal with somebody who's got that chaotic energy, they think that people can accept you, but you need to start also being accountable. Some of your energy, right? It needs to be contained. Right? Marissa, thank you. Some of your energy needs to be contained. Your energy, you're bouncing off the walls, right? And sometimes after a while, it gets onto people's nerves. Yes, it does. Right? We can only contain so much. So, you know, so yes, at the beginning, it didn't affect him. And now it's affecting him. She also feels some type of way because now she doesn't feel accepted. But the truth of the matter is that behavior, some of it needs to shift because it's not even just about her energy. There is more. Oh, there's more, guys. It's not just about her energy, right?
And that really saddens me because that's not the case. Like I've said to you so many times, I couldn't give a shit. I'll say to you, but I want to do this job. I want to do this job. And you're like, every time I say that, even when I did flats in Sheffield, you'd say, I remember. I would come home after my third shift, and I'd be like, I'm gonna sleep for 2 hours. I'm gonna go to another shift because if I do that, I'm gonna buy that car, you know. And you would literally go, Aliyah. And naturally, you doing that is because I feel like you think I want you to be on that big boy energy with me, like be on that energy, and then you breathing like that and saying, "Oh, Aliyah, I feel like you're taking my energy." Like I don't. Let me say something to you on the record right now. I could not give a shit genuinely if you.
And I have a big issue as well. Okay, I have a big issue with when people are talking and they're always swearing. Because it's actually really a disrespectful kind of thing. But some people can do it and they're okay, right? But I have a big issue because you actually listen, only one person's doing it. Right? If you really listen, only one person's actually doing it. So it's either F you or it's either is this, is it? And there's a lot of that from one person. So there is two different ways of communication, right? That are coming at the other one way, another person. Two different types of communication. Maybe that's another area he could have potentially worked at as well, because that could have been also something that he could have checked early and said, hey, the tone, the words you're saying, the energy you bring, I don't like that. Right? You know what I'm saying, Chu? And Smiles, is it emotionally abusive? I wouldn't necessarily say it's emotionally abusive. I would say if it was a man, we'd probably be looking at that. You know what I mean? People would probably say it's emotionally abusive. I'll be honest with you, there's a bias. We don't ever see that. We don't ever see it the same way for men and women. Let's just be honest. Because if a man was talking the way she was talking, we'd all be like, she's in an abusive relationship right now. We'd be all saying that. But let's be honest, you're probably gonna say that. You know what I'm saying, Chu? But for me personally, it's disrespectful the way she's talking. And it breaks the connection between your husband and you. Okay, it breaks the connection. And so when he wants to show up for you and show his love for you, he can't do that because you're disconnecting it by being disrespectful. For men, the way you want them to show up in love is that if you respect them, they show up in love. And I'm telling you this because he actually says it. He actually says it a little bit later as well, okay? As well in that space. So when that man will give more love, it's because he feels respected. When he feels disrespected, he doesn't give that same love. That's just how men are. You know what I mean? And for women, you know, if you love them, the respect comes too. You know what I'm saying, Chu? But if they don't love themselves, and if a man doesn't respect himself, then those things don't even work either way. It doesn't matter how much of a person does for them.
You worked at Subway making sandwiches. I've always said to you, as I believe the base for anyone to earn is £1,000. If you work full time, you earn £1,000. You can make anything work. I know you might be like, but you spend this, but you spend that. And yeah, I do, because that's what I earn. You understand? You understand? If I'm making enough rice to go for 3 people and there's only 2 of us, we're going to have a bigger portion. Do you get it? But let's not pretend that we haven't lived, you know, much a much more minuscule life than we are living now. Not that we're hella flamboyant about it, but it really upsets me that when I have a dream or a goal, that adds a pressure to you that I don't expect of you.
This is the thing. Like, it doesn't add a pressure to me at all. Like, I'm very, very like.
Where are you getting that from?
Let me finish. Right? I'm like,
blood. I can't lie to you. When you watch this, yeah, you realize the man's suffering, rude boy. The man is suffering, rude boy. This man is trying to add something. You know what I'm saying to you? The man's trying to add something. And then immediately, where's that coming from? It's like, well, but like, hey, I want to be able to communicate with you, but hey, come on. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I come off too. You know what I'm saying to you? Like, all of this energy, like, that's what we're talking about. It's a lack of respect for the way you're talking to a person. Now, I want to go a little bit further on, and like, I don't want to go too far because I have to go back to the original video. Listen to this. Listen to this. This is very interesting. Listen to this.
No, I'm super proud. Like, I just what went through my head literally was like,
Listen to this. Okay.
I'm happy and proud of you. If you were Beyonce and I wasn't Jay-Z,
but
I'd be buzzing.
I want to point something out then.
Go on.
You've always been like that, always been Mr. Phone Finger, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I will say, since I stepped out into more of a limelight on the internet, for example, where more people, it's not a silent success anymore. Why are you smirking?
Because you just bring back. I'm so proud.
Okay.
Like,
No,
that's what I'm saying.
this guy getting ready for you.
No, I'm super proud. Like, I just what went through my head literally was like, all just you and what you've been able to achieve online, how you've grown something. So I'm super proud. It makes me happy. I feel like this is a big part of what you're meant to do.
Okay, but let me explain something. When I stepped out on the internet, woof, right? And I'm going to be so honest right now because I don't think we're going to get to this point. Like, get over this point. Let's be honest. You're still doing the same thing you've been doing this whole time, phone finger. Let's be realistic. If I'd been paying your bills for 5 years, you wouldn't care. And if you've been paying mine, you wouldn't care, right? But obviously, and you will always say, like, no, it doesn't. But when we stepped out on the net, especially me, because, I hate saying me, but I want people to understand that, because sometimes we get DMs that are sent to you, and I'm like, this man ain't even reading nothing, man. You know what I'm saying? Like,
pause. Jealousy. I want you to listen. Pause. Jealousy. I want you to pause and listen. Jealousy. This is really important because what we're hearing right now is jealousy. But she's now going to project that he's the one that's jealous of her. Listen to what she just said. Rochelle, God bless you, man. I feel like the Lord done sent you out here to remind us that he's a giving God. Thank you very much, Rochelle. We appreciate you. God bless you. I appreciate you, sis. Thank you for the super chats. For the gifted memberships out here. I appreciate you, sis. Right? This lady's gonna project onto him. Listen.
And if you've been paying mine, you wouldn't care, right? But obviously, and you will always say, like, no, it doesn't. But when we stepped out on the net, especially me, because I hate saying me, but I want people to understand that, because sometimes we get DMs that are sent to you, and I'm like, this man ain't even reading nothing, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is why I make people damn clear. You're speaking to me. It's my family I'm sharing, but it's me. If I don't, and this is not me. I hate when I say this because it sounds like
you hate what you say because you have to be honest about what you're actually hearing, what you say. She's getting annoyed about the fact that she's doing something, which is obviously she includes him, right? She includes him. And because obviously sometimes people message him, she's like getting annoyed about the fact that they're messaging him because they're not giving her the validation and recognition that she wants. But it's not about the validation and recognition. It's not about that. It's just that you're not interested in it. So why are they talking to you? Oh.
like I'm taking it away from you. But if I didn't take out the camera and take out the editing and take out the posting, there wouldn't be any Salah socials. And even to this point, if we separated, I don't think you'd become an internet mogul. And not that I am, because you just don't have that kind of energy. You're not interested enough to do it. Fine. I don't expect that of you, right? But you know.
Blood, that underhanded cuts are crazy, blood. You wouldn't even be an internet mogul. Like, if I didn't pull out the camera, it wouldn't even be you. Whoa. So you're annoyed that people like your husband. Jesus. The equivalent, is like me pulling, if I have a wife, by the grace of God, I'll have one very soon. But it's like bringing a wife onto the channel, and people message, and people message my wife and say, like, I just love you on the show. I love having you on Kojo's show. And you show me, and I'm like, oh, why are they messaging you for? It's my channel. Like, would you not call me a hater? Would you not call me a jealous hater? Would you not call me a jealous hater? You would say, Kojo, do you even like your wife? I'm now questioning whether she likes her husband. Call it trauma, what we want to call it. At this point, we got to ask, do you even like your husband? Because a simple messages from people messaging him, which you put him on the platform, by the way. He didn't ask to be on the platform. He put him on the platform so she could do this content. And now, and it's not like they're messaging him more than her. No, he got a few messages and she's angry about it. Listen, it's going to get worse.
When I stepped on the internet, I felt like you were doing the same, finger upon finger, But like the back end of last year, we began to become more successful, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I found, and then obviously money took a little bit of an interest because you didn't know what I was earning. I was just telling you, you know. And when that kind of like came a bit more full circle and like what I'd been putting time and energy into started coming back to me, to us, to all of us, I started to see a shift. And you know, like when you're like, when you wouldn't want the worst for your sibling, but you also don't want them to do better than you because you don't know how they're going to use it towards you. Do you understand what I mean?
No.
Well, you've got 5 siblings. I think you're lying if you say so.
No.
So the brother said he doesn't see what's going on because honestly, I mean, listen, the brother ain't said nothing. The brother said, listen, she's trying to give it, she's saying, obviously, it's like a little siblings who don't want to outshine. Listen, can I be honest with you? Okay? I don't care about my siblings. I'll be happy if my siblings outshine me. My brother's married. I'm not married. I'm so happy for him. I don't have there's not an ounce of an inch of a body that goes, I wish I was married before my brother. I don't even have an ounce. I'm happy my brother's married, has a child, he's living, he's flourishing. That boy, he moved out the house before I did. Do you get what I'm saying to you? My brother moved out the house before I did, got married before I did. Should I now? I don't feel no way because I love my brother. You know what I'm saying to you? My sister is an artist. She can draw. I can draw. But man, she draw. That girl, when she starts drawing, hyper realistic. Like it's crazy. Yes, it's a younger brother. Hyper realistic. And when I look at my drawings, I go, damn, my drawings are not even in the same league. My drawings are not even that great. Do you know what I'm saying to you? Like, why am I jealous about the fact that my sister has a better gift than me? You know what I'm saying to you? The youngest one, I think, listen, the youngest one, she's been wise since she was like 4 years old. Do you know what I'm saying to you? So I'm not thinking that. I'm not thinking I don't want you to be better than me. Do you know what I'm saying to you? Not everyone has that perspective because not everyone has that level of toxicity.
When would anybody say the whole use it toward you thing?
No, like, you know, no, not right now. Like, we're grown-ups now. I'm talking about back in the day, like your sibling, for example.
Yeah,
For example, you do GCSEs.
Yeah.
You want your sibling to do better. You don't want your sibling to be like the idiot who did pass the GCSE, right?
You want them to do well, but not better.
That's a completely different example. I never want any of my family to fail. No, you know what I'm saying to you? But
don't do better than me, because if you do better than me, then I'm going to hear about
okay,
it. Next,
that makes sense.
Right? Yeah, just like that. If you go to, I don't know, a job, right? You want to say, well, you worked at JB, but I worked at the better shop because that's more where the premium good looking. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That, right? I was getting that kind of energy from you. And that's when I felt the switch, because when you say like, oh, I'm just here and I'm here to support you, and I'm like, them hard, them oh, Aliyah, that this is where, and I think we have to break this down, because you say, you know, the ripple effect, and I'm just like, wait, how are we gonna reduce that effect? Because I can't see myself slowing down as a person. But then sometimes, like, you're always there with the phone finger, but then sometimes you're like, fuck, you know, like, and then, you know what I mean? I don't know. Like, I'm getting this like sibling energy from you. I'm just like,
I think
that energy.
I 100%. I think. Look,
well,
I don't want to. Okay, go on.
When you give me that sibling energy, then I feel like I start to like give you energy back, the energy that you just described, that I make you feel when I'm like, oh, because I'm like, fuck off. Like, why? How have you got a problem with how hard I'm working? Is how I become.
First off, I'm really, really glad you told me that, because never in a million years have I ever felt that. And if you've ever felt like that, I'm really sorry that you have. Because I think,
are you sure?
Well, let's pause right there. First and foremost, this man. Listen, if he was a narcissist, he's the most amazing narcissist I've ever seen. Not that anybody has ever said this, but I'm just saying. But what he just did there was, in that moment, he actually validated her like you should validate somebody. He said, first and foremost, if you feel that way, listen, I'm sorry you ever felt that way. That's not how I feel, but I'm sorry that you felt that way. That's a straight validation, right? So this is baby. baby, we are half an hour into that particular video, and she's saying, "Are you sure?" Because she's convinced in her mind that he must feel these things about her. And I'm telling you, she's self-sabotaging. She didn't hear the validation at all. She instantly brushed past validation. She didn't want to hear it.
Wallahi, let me give you an insight into my thinking. When things started to go well for you, and it was looking like this could be an avenue which you could really like invest more into. You know, all the that I carry with me every minute of every single day about, okay, you know, the future, you know, the dream house, you know, the business success that I want to leave behind for the kids, for making sure that that's all sorted. That was a humongous, I felt so happy because I was like, oh my God, that's way more realistic and doable and even closer than ever before now, because you're doing really well. And combined, oh, God knows where we could be. I was over the moon. Over the moon. I promise you, I want you to understand this. If you were making millions out there, I'd be buzzing. Like I told you, as long as over the moon. Buzzing. Buzzing. Yeah, buzzing. I feel like a kid. Do you know why? Because as long as, listen, this whole thing, I told you when we first got together, what I really, really liked about you. I love your ambition. I love your drive. And I want to be with someone who, when my kids look at, yes, they look at dad, he's doing really well, he's in business, blah, blah, blah. I want them to look at their mum and be like, oh my God, I come from two people that really, really, you know, go out there and make things happen. That's in me. You know what I mean? There's a confidence that instills in our kids. And I love you as a person. And I love all those points, even back when you didn't think you had those driving points about you. You know what I mean? I told you do, and I love it. But I need you to understand, if you're ever feeling like that, I promise you, never from me. I wish. No, but I'm talking about like some sibling jealousy, or you talked about like me not, you know, potentially liking a video.
No, that's not true. If you're going to bring that up, let's be honest about it. Your phone finger disappears when you're not the forefront of the content. I've said that. If you're going to put that on
that's been a point. Listen, of course. Listen,
I don't need to lie respectfully. Like, no, seriously, no.
See, this is.
I wasn't going to mention this.
See, this is. I've got no problem with it.
No.
This is the point. Like, I'm happy to be honest, but this is the point I'm making to you. You know, when someone's agreeing with you, and when somebody said, "Yeah, of course," like, you see, you've got the point there. But what you're doing there is you're getting a nail, you're putting on top, and you're like.
So there's an area here where she spoke about, which I think he can work on, right? She said, and I have to go back a little bit. She said, hold on a minute. You know, when you're not the forefront of the content, you're not as forefinger, right? So that's an area he needs to work on, because he admitted it. He said, listen, you know what? Yes, maybe I can be a little bit better in that area. He does need to work on that, right? That he's not as enthusiastic, okay? When she is doing maybe her solo content. And maybe that's what she needs from him, right? So that's that not seeing aspect. Like I said, it's also it's a two-way street. You know what I'm saying, Chu? So that's an aspect that needs to be worked on as well from his perspective in that area that he needs to look at. Like, maybe how can I be more supportive in those solo projects that you're doing? You know what I'm saying, Chu? And be as appreciative in that area of you, in that space. You know what I mean?
Bang with the hammer.
This is where we always disagree. I didn't mention that on here, not because you asked me not to. I just wasn't going to. You just mentioned it, and I was giving them context. They have no clue. We don't have private conversation. So what you feel is like a bang, bang, bang is me telling them the actual point. But it also ties into this. Now you've mentioned it, we might as well talk about it. You keep saying like, I'm there to support you, making it stressful. But I think what I want from you in a partner has changed over the years, because I don't want you to just be like, yeah, I support you, and then don't bang yourself out. Like, if you can see me up all night making content, editing content, where is your support when you're not in the forefront of the camera anymore, right? And that.
Hey, Chale. So by the way, he works early and works late. She told us this, right? He works early, he works late. Now the situation is, now she's telling us when she's creating content late at night, you want me to be up there with you as well. Oh, Chale, like, look, listen, as a content creator, yeah, all I need, if I have a partner, I had a conversation with one of my ex-partners about this, right? All I ever wanted for them to do was just appreciate the content I do. I don't need to watch every single video. You know what I'm saying, Chu? Like, just be a little bit in tune. That's all. Once in a while, like, hey, babe, I see the growth that you're having. I see this, what you're doing. I see this. Do you know what I'm saying, Chu? Right? I'm not expecting you to sit up late with me when I'm editing content. When I'm now coaching, sit beside me. Oh, like, I don't expect that. And it's not because I'm even an individual person, but how can I expect that? I'm working. It's my job. I don't expect you to go to work with me. Do you see what I'm saying to you? I don't expect you to go to work with me. You know what I'm saying to you? And it's not a joint venture. He has a full-time job outside of the fact that you're starting your full-time content creation. Kai. So you're asking almost too much of the person. You know what I'm saying to you? It is your full-time job. I don't come to your full-time job and then say, "Can I help you at your full-time job?" Because it's your full-time job. You know what I'm saying to you? You can ask for help, of course, but I'm just saying to you, like, the expectation is a little bit,
That's what causes me to be frustrated. Like I said to you, and I'm not saying this because I feel like I'm untouchable. I don't need your like. Respectfully, honey, you've got like a 68 followed account. You know what I'm saying? Like, no disrespect. No, it's not about your account. No, seriously though. Like, no.
These little cheat shots of disrespect, again, I don't need your like. You know, you've only got 6 to 8 followers. I don't need your like. So when you put down his effort, instead of just saying, "Listen, I really appreciate that the fact you like my content. What I really need when someone's doing something you don't want, right? We have to we first validate. So let's say, for instance, the liking aspect. She wants more than him. She wants him to do more than liking. Okay, hey, I appreciate the fact that you like my content. Thank you. You know, what I would love from you though is also, maybe share the content a little bit. Share it with family, share it with friends as well, and that would really help me in my growth and my journey as well. And that would help me feel very supported. That's a very different message to, "I don't need your like. It's 6 to 8 followers. Oh, no disrespect, but it's like only 6 or 8 followers." Well, my friend, like, what do you think I'm going to do? What you going to do?
Because I don't want it to be an engagement thing. It shouldn't be an engagement thing, is what I'm saying. You've got 68 followers. It's not going to engage my account. It's more of the thought of me. You understand? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think I do. I do. I know. I'm not. I promise you. I'm not. I do understand.
Why is she saying he's been defensive? He hasn't said anything. And so now he hasn't said anything. He hasn't said anything. You know what I'm saying to you?
Understand where you're coming from. The only thing I would say to you is, I think the measure of my support isn't just necessarily in a like. Do you know what I mean? Like this.
It's not in a like. No, it's not. I'm not having this. I'm not having this. It's not in a like. It's not in a like. It's not in a follow. But these are other things. It's also in supporting me in like.
You see what's happened here? That's what we're looking at now. You see what's happened here? That's a physical representation of people who don't pay attention to how they show up in a relationship. They believe that they have their only point, and that's the only point that makes sense. So we are seeing this. I'm going to show you one more clip of this. I'm going to go back to the original video. This is why I said when people do these videos and they come out and say something, you don't talk about the other side. I've got to ask a question. Why is the other side not being told about? How come you can't tell me what you do? Right? We're not feeling seen. We're not feeling this. And I'll go and skip it because this part was important as well, right? Listen to this. And then we'll get back to the main video.
Those things. And I think because you've become so uncomfortable with the potential of my tidal wave, whatever you called that earlier on, the water, you just don't do anything.
Nah, it's not that. I promise you it's not that. I would love anything. Look, first off, I'm just going to sound like a broken record because you have this conversation already.
What?
Yeah. But first off, look, I don't know where this stuff goes. I need you to direct me, man. Right. And secondly, when you direct me, just treat me with respect. You might be frustrated. I told you I might sound like a broken record. It's a consistent theme. When you're stressed out, you're not nice to be around sometimes. You know what I mean? Ooh. So all I'm saying to you is let's just remember each other and just be patient. I will listen. I might not put things. I won't know it, but just be patient with me because honestly, that's just going to make me shut down. Like I don't want to participate.
And that is it. That's exactly what we see. You're not nice to be around. You're not nice to be around when you're stressed. You're not a nice person. You need a snicker. You need a snicker. When you are stressed, you're not nice to be around. Just be respectful. And we've all seen it. We've all seen it. Right? Because we're seeing the disrespect right now in the tone, in the word choice, in the phraseology. So let's go back to our normal video because we have to give back to a normal video because the reason why we're divorcing, I had to show you that so you can understand what's going on.
So all I had to do is survive. So that was easy for me. I wasn't on social media when I first had my first baby, but all my friends were like, when you have a baby, weight is going to hit you and you're going to be struggling to clean, your house will be a mess. And I just didn't get that. I had my baby 17 days or something into lockdown. So all I had to do is wake up, eat, sleep, repeat. And it was the most blissful way and most blissful entry into motherhood. So again, things that have bothered me the second time round may not have been highlighted so much because he was here, I was here, we were just looking after our baby. But when I when we had a second baby, I always knew, regardless of marriage, it was going to hit me, right? Because I'm now experiencing motherhood for the first time, but with 2 kids. Is that my kids? I can hear the door. It's not. I'm now experiencing motherhood for the first time, but with 2 kids. So I always knew it was going to be difficult because I didn't have to do the whole school run, rush around, go to work with a tiny baby. I just didn't have to do that the first time. So I did that the second time, right? And I remember saying to my husband at the time, this is a lot and I really need your help. And the kid's dad, you've all seen him on the internet. He's a nice guy, you know. He's like, how can I help? And I truly believe he thought the help was just saying he would help. I don't know. I told him what I needed from him and he acknowledged what I needed from him, but I didn't feel any change.
Now, that's what very important. First, what she said, this is very, very important. She said, I told him what I wanted. I didn't feel change. You're not supposed to feel change. You're supposed to see it. Right? When someone tells you that they don't feel the change, you're looking for an emotion. You didn't see the change. Right? Not feeling something is not seeing something. So do you see the change? Because if you're saying that you didn't feel it, that's completely different to not seeing it. Did you see a change? Did you acknowledge some changes? Did you appreciate the change that he made? Because if he's made some changes and you don't appreciate it, somebody reverts back to type. It's like, well, I can't win with you. You know what I mean? So I don't know if she actually goes back to says see the change. Maybe she will explain it there.
What I do want to say is towards the end, before I asked for the marriage, when I would do vlogs, I would include Farhan in the vlog towards the end of the day because I didn't want it to be like a big hate fest of why are you doing all this by yourself and where's your husband? But then I realized, why am I covering up my reality? Because this is my reality. I feel like I'm doing a lot of it by myself. To do the math here, right? I had the second baby and I just wasn't coping. And it wasn't because I had a baby. It was because I was struggling with the dynamic change of shit. Like now I'm looking after 2 kids. I'm still racing to do 40 hours a week in my finance job. I'm getting them dressed in the morning. I'm dropping them to school. I'm going to work. I'm racing from work. I'm picking them up. I'm feeding them. I'm showering them. I'm putting them in bed. And then Farhan would return home from work. So
I want to pause it right here because it's very important. First and foremost, I don't think she has to actually work 40 hours a week because a man earns quite good money apparently. So I don't know if she has to actually work 40 hours a week. I don't know if she's making a choice on that, right? So I know there's an emotional investment. When you're looking after kids, it is tiring. Ain't nobody else going to tell you nothing else. Waking up early ain't no joke. Okay, all right, ain't no joke. So I understand the emotional investment when you're doing that. As a firstborn, as an African, you become a third parent. You know how it feels. You get up early, you dress your siblings, you take them to school, you bring them back from school. You know what I'm saying to you? You lose summer holidays. Trust me, I know the emotional investment. Maybe not as much as a mom, but I understand the emotional investment. So then obviously now she's letting us know, which is fair, right? And she can, I can understand how that might be frustrating, okay? That your husband's going to work, by the way, it's not like he's just not helping. Your husband goes to work early and comes back late. You know what I'm saying to you? So he misses a majority of the effort that has to be done when you get back from work, right? So when he gets back from work, the kids are pretty much tired. They're almost going to go to sleep almost, right? So he misses those components and probably only deals with them on a weekend as much, right? Because he's working so much, okay? Now, the question is this, in fact, I'm not going to say it. Let's let her answer the question.
So, my baby dad's out with his friends and he's not at home. But when I really needed him, I don't think he understood the gravity of what I meant when I said I really needed him. And I want you all to know that this is not a knee-jerk reaction of I said it, you didn't listen, now it's finished. That's not what happened. I almost begged. You know what I mean? Like, I almost begged. But the kid's dad is so different to me. He's so different to me. And that is okay too. I don't work well with words. Please, like, show me, show me. And I didn't feel like I was being shown just because obviously he was leaving early for work. He was getting home late for work. So by the time he's come home to show anybody, nowadays I'm shattered, respectfully. I'm finished. I've had enough. I'm tired. I've already done all the hard work. So when you're returning saying, what can I do? Day's done. You know what I mean? Like, it was a bit of a recipe for disaster, I'll admit. But that naturally caused friction in our marriage because I constantly felt alone. I've honestly felt so alone. I thought single moms talk about this struggle, and my mom was a single mom, and they talk about the struggle. And I struggled to see the discrepancy between my marriage and being a single mom. And again, it's not dragging him. I just don't think he thought, wait a minute, let me get a different job because kids are not a 1 year, 2 year, you know, it's a lifelong thing. Let me get a job closer to home, which I had the first time around, which means that I can, you know, actively support her much more than past 7:30. Do you know what I mean? So that played a massive role in it. And again, I've been really open and honest about my toxic relationship with my parents, my lack of family presence. But I also want you to know, I also asked for the divorce before my mom died. So it wasn't.
But again, so listen, so this is important, right? This is really important, right? Because now at this particular point, what's happened is the first time round he was in COVID. I want you to understand what happened. COVID happened. He had a job that was much closer. He gets another job, and another job is actually much further along. Unfortunately, that further job is now causing him to have to take longer out. So he's getting up earlier to get to the job, and he has to come back later, right? And so in that space of, what was it, 3 years or something, whatever, 2 years, whatever. I don't know how long it was because it's 3 years cycle they have. In that space, after the COVID situation, she feels obviously like she's not being supported the way she needs to be supported, right? Now, in that space, this is a real thing between couples, right? That where sometimes there is a discrepancy in the amount of effort that's happening, right? And she said that she basically, if you heard her correctly, her example was he didn't get another job, right? Now, I would say that I think the easier thing to do than him getting another job is actually her quitting her job. I'm just gonna be honest with you, and maybe that's my patriarchy showing its tail. I think it will be easier to get rid of a job than actually gaining another job. Do you get what I'm saying to you? In that space of time that you're needed in terms of that time, right? Because now you're adding, not only that, you're now adding content creation. Now you're adding content creation on top of it as well. Now I think she's quit her job recently because I saw a video of her. She said she quit her job. That's why she's now full-time content creation, right? So in that space again, like there's been a shift, right? There's been a shift. And I said this in the other video. I said, when you're not able to deal with discomfort very well, you tend to act rashly in that fact that you're feeling discomforted. But it's a true feeling that she has. She didn't feel supported enough in that space because there was a period of time, okay? All right, there's a period of time that where she was having to feel like she was doing it alone. And I can understand that. That's a real issue. There may be some, but the reality situation about marriage is there may be some discomfort because if one person's working to gain the finances in order to live a certain lifestyle, yeah, this gonna be it. There might be there have to be some little bit of sacrifices, but also at the same time for him, he has to look at it going, what can I cut back on? You know what I'm saying to you? Can I get from work and say, work, I need to leave 2 hours early, finish up some work maybe at home? You know what I'm saying to you, right? There has to be some, you know what I'm saying to you? There's a look on both sides here. What can we look to do? You know what I'm saying to you? That's also another issue because she was obviously feeling very tired, but I'm going to guarantee you the way that she talks in that last video, that's always been there. That ain't new.
Wasn't my mom dying and me going to Bali and all the rest of it. The Bali was actually meant to be a family trip. It was supposed to be a family trip. Maybe it was God as to why it ended up being a solo trip. And I don't regret it at all. And we actually got to that conclusion because Far was like, maybe we shouldn't take the kids there. Maybe it's not good for kids, you know, because it's like on an island or whatever. And he knew I really wanted to go there at the beginning of the year. He said, maybe you should go by yourself. I don't know if he was calling my bluff. I don't know what it was. But he said, maybe you should go by yourself. And I was like, you know what? Maybe, because you traveled and I never traveled. And we've already said we're going to get a divorce now. So maybe this is what I need. But then obviously my mum died. And when she died, I feel like people think I had like this midlife crisis where I'm like, that is it. I'm ending my marriage. That's not what happened. But
hold a minute. What did she just say? Sorry, I just registered late to me. What bluff? Why would he be calling your bluff? Wait. That's weird. Hold on.
It was. But he said, maybe you should go by yourself. And I was like, you know what? Maybe, because you traveled and I never traveled. And we've already said we're going to get a divorce now. So maybe this is what I need. But then obviously my mum died. And when she died, relationship with my parents, my lack of family presence. But I also want you to know, I also asked for the divorce before my mom died. So
also, just bring this as an example, in her family also, there was a lack of presence, toxic mum, lack of presence. There's a fear of abandonment. Okay. There is a fear of abandonment. That's a major component. Hence why probably it worked really well when there was COVID because she always had him close. The moment he doesn't have that closeness of her, now that triggers are starting to fire as well, right? Okay.
It wasn't my mom dying and me going to Bali and all the rest of it. The Bali was actually meant to be a family trip. It was supposed to be a family trip. Maybe it was God as to why it ended up being a solo trip. And I don't regret it at all. And we actually got to that conclusion because Far was like, maybe we shouldn't take the kids there. Maybe it's not good for kids, you know, because it's like on an island or whatever. And he knew I really wanted to go there at the beginning of the year. He knew he said, maybe you should go by yourself. I don't know if he was calling my bluff. I don't know what it was. But he said, maybe you should go by yourself. And I was like, you know what? Maybe, because you traveled.
Why would he be calling your bluff? When you hear stuff like this, you have to think what the person's mindset is. They are always thinking you're trying to. There's always a mindset of hypervigilance and thinking about that someone's trying to hurt them. Because why would I be calling your bluff? I don't get it. Right? Why would I be? What that don't make that? Why would I be calling? You know what I'm saying to you? Like, why would you be calling your bluff? He's saying to you that your mum passed away. Okay, you should probably go to Bali by yourself. I'll take the kid. Why would there be a bluff? What is he bluffing about? What is he bluffing about? And I'm not again. I'm highlighting this because this is how it sounds. But when it's in your head, it sounds normal until you start speaking it out and like, whoa, what are you talking about?
Well, then I never travelled, and we've already said we're going to get a divorce now. So maybe this is what I need. But then obviously my mum died, and when she died, I feel like people think I had like this midlife crisis where I'm like, that is it, I'm ending my marriage. That's not what happened. But when my mum died, she died of an accident. So when I saw her on the day she died, on the evening she died, I went straight to where she was and I saw her dead. It really shook me awake and told me, Aliyah, you've made the right choice. And the reason why I'll say that is because my mum was a single parent. She always raised us by herself. My dad was really absent, but she never made us feel that. So no matter whether it be 3 years, 4 years, when he would come, I always saw them be friends. I always saw her put him before.
Well, let's pause right here. She said she never felt the absence of him. How would you not if he was 3 or 4 years not there? How would you not like that? Listen to what she's actually saying to you again. And the reason why we're saying is because this is the trauma that we're talking about. When I deal with clients, this is the trauma we're talking about. They will tell you, I've never been abandoned. And it's like, well, they weren't talking to you for 3 or 4 years. Would you not think that? No, I didn't feel it at all. You sure? So when they left, you didn't feel no way? Like, you don't realize you've dismissed your own feelings. You get what I'm saying to you? You don't realize you've dismissed your own feelings here.
Yeah, you've made the right choice. And the reason why I'll say that is because my mum was a single parent. She always raised us by herself. My dad was really absent, but she never made us feel that. So no matter whether it be 3 years, 4 years, when he would come, I always saw them be friends. I always saw her put him before herself. I always saw her just shrink into motherhood. And there's so many people in the comments saying, you're selfish because you put yourself before your children. No, you're not. You know, my children are first, and that's why I've come to this conclusion, because the person I became in the misery of my marriage was not good enough as a mother for them. And when I saw her dead, I remember saying to her, when I was a teenager, we used to always say, please, mom, do something for yourself. She used to say, I can't, I'm a mom now. We used to say, who makes these rules? And you know what? I thought, Aliyah, she didn't listen. Why are you not listening to yourself? Who makes these rules? I didn't enjoy. I reached the point where I just didn't enjoy being a mother anymore. It reached the point where I just, every day was like, I opened my eyes and I thought, not again. Like, again, because I just felt like I had this burden of endless tasks that I've not yet finished from yesterday that I'm waking up to today. Do you know what I mean? So I'm already waking up with a weight on my back. And now I've still got to take this weight off my back, but I'm more adding because I've still got to get to my job on time and all the rest of it.
Well, let's pause right there. The endless tasks that she has, that is a very difficult place to be, right? When you're in a relationship, because you want to be able to share the burden. And so I don't know fully, because obviously we didn't talk about that much in that space, right? I want to say, in that space of when you get into a relationship and you are someone who is anxious, sometimes you take on responsibility far more than you need to, because again, you find value in being in a place of servitude. So when you get to that particular place and you're serving so much, sometimes you forget that you have needs, and you forget to be able to articulate that to another person to let them know that you need them in that space. And sometimes people do believe that they're communicating, but maybe the way they communicate then makes the other person not be able to join you. You know what I mean? Like, we're seeing the way she communicated. Would any of you want to join her? Would anybody, if that's the way she's communicating, I would struggle to hear what you actually want from me. You know what I'm saying to you? I would struggle to want to even be around you, right? Now, and that's why you have to, call it out. So in that space, I'm like, wait, hold on a minute now. Like, I'm hearing what you're saying, but there's a way you have to communicate these needs so that people can actually hear you and also join you as well, right? And not every need will be met immediately. Some things have a time thing to him, right? So you may have to sit in discomfort a little while. Do you get what I'm saying to you? And then kind of work around that. So I'm just hearing a lot of that, and I'm saying, okay, maybe he needs to hear the need behind what she said, and in that space. And maybe he found it very difficult to hear the need behind what she's saying because of the way that she says it. Because right now, the way she's talking, you think to yourself, this is an angel. You'd be like, well, if you're saying it like this, why wouldn't he listen? Why is he not listening? And that's why I said when I heard the public offenders video, it wasn't that I wasn't like, oh my God. Like I was like, okay, I get why he's going for that perspective, but I can hear something behind what she's saying. But maybe because of the work that I do, I was like, it's not one of those typical stories where women are literally single mothers in a relationship. Like like there are certain women who generally are single mothers in a marriage. Like, but I said the way she's talking, she's not one of those women. Something else is happening behind it that she's not telling us, and she's giving us a story in a way. Do you get what I'm saying to you? So we need to be able to hear behind the pain. And she also needs to be able to deliver the information so that the person can receive it for their ears. You know what I'm saying to you? Shout out to Rochelle as well. Thank you very much, Rochelle White. So I could be wrong, but when she says that that he's calling her bluff, it seems that maybe she possibly has threatened to leave him. Yeah, and so she's, in a sense, if she has threatened to leave him, one might say that if he's calling your bluff, are you testing him? Because that would be something that would be very, very much in line with fearful avoidance. Fearful avoidance tend to test. So would that be in alignment with those particular behaviors? I would agree with you. I would say, listen, she was probably trying to see if it would change to try and get it to change. Who knows? I don't know. You know what I mean? Shout out to Rochelle again. Thank you very much for this. It says, by the way, you're going to make a great husband one day. God is preparing you. Thank you very much. You must be talking to the Lord right away, because he really did say that to me as well. He's preparing me for a time and a season. So I'm learning from these videos. So thank you very much, Rochelle, as well. I'm also learning, like I said, because I understand how difficult it is in a marriage as well. And to hear behind what's being said, you know what I'm saying to you? But also, like I said, like when I heard her speak the way she did, I said to myself, I don't like that way, the way you're speaking to me. So I can't let it go on. That communication style, it would have ended in the first year. I can't lie to you. The way she's communicating with me, it would have ended in the first year. Not because I'm better, but because I've learned that I have to be boundaried with you. If I don't carry boundaries with you, you will step over me. I cannot have an apathetic feeling to things that are going to hurt me. If I do, I'm going to ruin you. So I need to be cautious and aware of how this is going to play a role. So for me personally, either you're going to change or this is going to run into a divorce, because I can't have you talking the way you're talking and just talking recklessly, right? Just talking recklessly. I'd have had to tell you, listen, if you continue, this conversation's got to end. You're either going to learn or you're going to be out, because you're not going to, I can't stay in that. I can't stay in, do you know what I mean? I can't stay in that. You feel what I'm saying to you? There are things where we're going to have issues. We are going to argue. We're going to have moments where we're going to say stuff. That was not an argument. That was simply a conversation on a regular basis. That wasn't an argument, as a conversation. That's how you talk to me regularly? Yeah, no. We need to shut that down. Shut it down now. That is a hubba baloo type of situation, a hubba bubba type of situation, and I'm not finding myself in that situation. You know what I mean? I've learned my lessons. I won't allow that to happen. And you shouldn't allow me to do it either.
So yeah, it's nothing against Far. It's nothing against, if Far doesn't not like me, and like this is what's crazy. He's not telling everybody, oh my God, she's the, ask him. He hasn't got social media like that. He has a private profile. Does he really share? Not really, but ask him whenever you want. You all bump into him all the time. He will tell you about me. And you know why I'm so confident on that? Because I know with every action I've taken in this marriage, it's been of the best interest of him, then my kids, then myself. And it only changed when I realized maybe how he shows up now in a marriage is just not how you want him to show up anymore in a marriage. And maybe what you want from a marriage is not what you necessarily asked in the beginning. And that's nothing to do with social media. So yeah, I hope the context clears it up. I am getting a divorce. I do want to address another thing, because a lot of you are asking me, like, I want to do it how? I don't know where to start. And everyone's saying, just because you're financially free, you're able to do this. You couldn't be further from the truth. But right now, it's an incredible inconvenience to get a divorce. But I don't want temporary inconvenience to prevent me from making permanent life choices. Because right now, back then, it wasn't an enjoyable place anymore. And one thing about me and the kids' dad is we've always been able to get along and be friends. And anything slipping out of that, I just can't risk, because we have 2 kids to raise, whether we're together or apart. I don't want him to not like me. I don't want to not like him. So yeah, I asked for the marriage. Wait, sorry, I keep thinking my kids are back and I don't want to have this conversation when my kids are in the house. I asked for a divorce over a year ago. I've continued to live with Bar. I say live, I'm not, let me just change that before you all fucking snip this up and put it on TikTok. We've continued to live together. This is our house. We've paid 50-50 for this house. I don't want anything from him that is his. I don't expect he wants anything from me that is mine. I know how traditional marriages go, and I hope this video helps you understand that I'm not following the traditional route of either the man runs off of everything or the woman just snatches everything. No, I don't. If I take from him, I'm taking from my kids. Don't be foolish. I don't want anything. I just want peace of mind. And I've attained that. And what's really crazy is you are all like, oh, you lost weight. And you know, when I started losing weight, when I realized, oh shit, this is not helpful. And then the reason I had this little glow up, and everyone's like, where's the glow coming from? My divorce. Come on, bro.
She is going to come back later on and realize that she was a problem. Look, after you have a breakup, a lot of times you will feel better about yourself, especially avoidance. When they have a breakup, they feel so much better. Okay, so much better. Now, right now, she's got the best of both worlds. You see, because she doesn't have to commit to the relationship and show up. So you see, now they're separated and a co-parent in the same house. It's amazing right now, because she doesn't have to show up emotionally for another person, which means their needs are no longer on her list. Okay, right? And she's had a little bit of a glow up. Okay, cool. But what you don't realize is right now it's still cozy because you're still living with him. Right? You're still living with him. When you guys fully separate is where you're going to start seeing. Like, I know they're getting a divorce, but it's still time. There's still time. I hope they get to see my video. There is still time. We have not fully left the house. When you leave the house, you're going to see it. Right now, he hasn't left the house. You haven't left the house. The house is 50-50. It hasn't got there yet. Right now, it's still cozy. There's still some emotional comfort from knowing that he's still in the house. He hasn't got a new girlfriend. There's still emotional comfort. You haven't got a new boyfriend. There's still emotional comfort. Now, and this is a good point, Elsie. The key question is, how is she now going to supply her own emotional needs? Not that she can't do it, by the way, because this is about emotional safety. What is she now doing to make sure that she's showing up for her? Because you see, what's going to happen next is your kids are about to become your burden. And if there wasn't a problem before, it's about to become a problem now. You understand what I'm saying to you? Because if you couldn't get him to be open during the week, you think he's gonna take them kids during the week, and you think you're gonna if he wasn't taking the kids during the time in the relationship during the week because he was working, do you think when you separate, you giving him the kids is gonna work? He's not gonna take the kids. You're not gonna take the kids. You're going to see how this is going to play out. It's going to be heavy. It's not gonna be pretty. This is not like, if he was a bad guy, I'll be like, listen, get your ass out of there. Run for the hills. We will deal with the pain later on. But this isn't one of those situations.
Like, stop. Like, my divorce was making me, I felt lighter. I felt like, you know what, when I wake up, yeah, I'm still stressed with my kids. Yeah, I've still got these things to do. Yeah, I've still got a job. Yeah, I've still got to be a mom. But I don't have to emotionally show up for someone who I feel isn't emotionally showing up for me. Do you understand? Respectfully, though. So yeah, we've continued to live together for a year now, over a year, to figure this out. I know some people might be like, that is torture. You are torturing yourself. Some may call it torture. I think sometimes people make these decisions and then just run that way, which I know in some circumstances you have to because of the circumstance, but we're not in those circumstances. I don't want to run because I also can't imagine running and then finding our way back together to healthily communicate about our kids. So we've lived together now for over a year. And I've been ready to talk about it since it happened. I don't know if Far has. I never have asked him, can I put it on the internet? But it reached a point where he's now told people. So now it's time for me to tell people. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just waited until it felt organic, and that's been recently. So now we've told people, and now we're going to move into the next phase. We're probably going to live separately until we separate our assets and split them 50-50, everything we built together, 50-50, everything we built separately before, keep it, whatever. So now we're going to move into the next phase of living separately because, again, like I said, Far has very long work hours. He's gone for the majority of the day. So that won't cause too much disturbance in the kids wondering where he is. Because he comes back when they're sleeping, they don't really notice much difference. So now I think we're okay to live separately until we split our assets. And then once we split our assets, we're going to pick somewhere collectively together, a town. I mean, I told him already, I don't want to be your neighbor because fuck me, like, let me have a minute. But we'll pick a town close together in homes that we can provide our kids with similar lifestyles in, and we'll take it from there. But
This sounds very amicable right now because they're still in the same house. Okay, all right. Sounds very amicable when we're still in the same house, but I'm gonna tell you, gonna hit the fan. When stuff hits the fan, you're gonna find out nothing hits the fan. We're talking about we're gonna be living in a similar area, same area. You're gonna find out shit gonna hit the fan. If this brother couldn't stop his long hours for work, do you think him moving closer to the kids is gonna be the thing? It ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen, sis. Okay, this is about to hit the fan. Because if the brother couldn't take the kids during the week, if the brother couldn't quit the, change his hours to be shorter, do you think that you're gonna get him to shift and move to a town where you two are both gonna agree and it's gonna work beautifully?
oh, that's that. Everyone's saying I'm doing this to get. Do you know what? Let me just apologize for I say, because some of these comments, I'm smiling because it's like, correct. It's so far from the truth. I was actually reading some afar, and he was like, "Do they even know who you are?" I was like, "Clearly not." People are saying like, "I'm bored of so I'm trying to find more," or "I'm going back to the streets." Sis, you couldn't catch me in the streets. People think I'm doing this because I believe the grass is greener on the other side. No, the grass is greener where you water it, and I'm watering my own grass. It's for me. I'm actually okay being a single mom by myself. I don't intend to date for a minute. I don't intend to even, I don't want any of that, seriously. And even if I did, so in what? But I really don't. Trust me, I know that I feel my best self when I'm looking after myself and I'm looking after my kids. And I've enjoyed looking after them so much more in this last year than I did before. And I'll just say that. And anyone who judges me for that, you're already judging me. I can't apologize for it. So yeah, that is that. Oh, everyone seems to think that I'm going to regret this. And I can tell you for damn sure right now, I won't. And you know why I won't? I'm not like most women. You understand? I know.
Not that I'm not like most women. Not the comment, I'm not like most women. Now, why she drop y'all in it? Because she didn't need to drop you lot in it. She could have just said, listen, I even believe most women actually are making the right choice. How she drop you lot into it? I'm not the person. I'm not here to tell you that most women are wrong, you know. No. I'm saying there are a lot more women who are single in marriages. We see it. Most of us some of us have even experienced it. So I'm not even saying it's a most women situation. This video is not about most women. Please. The 70% thing is telling us something about divorce, why it's happening that way. I believe a lot more women. You know what I'm saying to you? So this is not about, oh, most women. But this is one of those cases I'm like, well, actually, we also see why some men are suffering, but this is not one of the most cases. I'm not saying that. You know what I'm saying to you? But you dropping the women into it, it's a red flag for me. When you start dropping, I'm not like most women, what are you really saying? What are you really saying? Why are you saying you're not like most women?
Okay, my kids are here, so we're going to have to wrap this up because they're going to come in like, with 4, by the way. Haven't hide a nanny. He's not right. No.
I think when she says not like most women, I think she's saying that women that stay, not leave. I think she's talking about the women that stay. She's talking about the fact that most women might stay in something for the kids or stay in something but she's like, no, I'm making a different choice. I'm not staying because of the kids. I'm out. And listen, I want to be fair. Listen, I don't think you should be staying for the kids anyway. But what I'm gonna say to you is like, I think there's like she said, you should water where you are. I think she needs to start looking at herself. You know? She needs to start looking at some of those behaviors.
Jesus. Everyone's saying I'm going to regret this. You know why I won't regret this? Because I spent 10 years trying. Anyone who wants to judge me, try for 10 years in a marriage. Try for 10 years in a marriage and then tell me, I won't regret this. You know why I won't regret it? Because I'm so much happier now. I am able to leave this with a friend who's also the father of my children and give my children way more than I had. But also, I know that, and I've said this to him, you're going to get married, have a girlfriend, whatever it is for you, and you're going to treat her You're maybe not treat, that's the wrong word. You're going to show up for her in ways that I don't feel you showed up for me. And I can't envy that. You know why? Because you're doing that because of what you've learned from this marriage. And I will equally do the same when I meet my person, whenever that may be. No time soon. Get out of my DMs. But I will.
Not the humble brag. It seems that sis got a little bit of a glow up. Her channel's blowing up a little bit, and the humble brag about the get out my DMs. Ah, sis. Oh, you don't know that the world is a small place, darling. Oh, no, sis. Let's rewind that. Whoa.
You're going to get married, have a girlfriend, whatever it is for you, and you're going to treat her. You're maybe not treat, that's the wrong word. You're going to show up for her in ways that I don't feel you showed up for me, and I can't envy that. You know.
Now, how is he going to show up for those other ladies differently than what he showed up for you? How would you know that? If he couldn't show up for you in the right way, why do you believe that he would show up better for other women? No, please help me, darling. Help me understand. Why do you think that if he couldn't show up for you in the right way, and you believe that he's the reason why you're actually leaving the relationship, that you think that he would learn the lesson out there in another relationship, and you're saying that you too will show up better for somebody else? Why are you not learning the lesson now? Why are you not learning this now? Yeah, exactly, Elsie. And that's where the ego comes in. She believes that she's a better partner, and she does not realize with that lack of self-awareness, as Dr. K said. I love that. Shout out to Dr. K who's in the chat as well. We also appreciate you, Dr. K. The lack of awareness as well in that you believe you're the better partner, and you think that you are tippity top, and you don't realize it's not in the attaining that people are good, it's the maintaining. I've always said this. I had the same perspective when I was 18, 24, 26, 28. I thought I was amazing at relationships. You see, as an avoidant, sometimes you look at yourself and go, I showed up like this, I showed up like this, I showed up like this. It wasn't until I hit 30. When I hit 30 and the Lord had to capture me, when I went into Egypt, I realized, oh, I had some revelations. I said, oh no, I'm a problem. When I had my last relationship and I said, I'm in a toxic relationship, I said, oh, how's Kojo who talks about relationship in a toxic relationship? That made no sense. And I said, no, I'm the issue. I've been looking at all my ex-girlfriends thinking to myself, they do this, they do that, they do this, they do that. It's you, Coach. The way you show up, the way you handle things, the way you don't like discomfort, the way your avoidance plays a role. You get hurt, and the way you can't communicate when you're hurt. Coach, and you only look at them. Your problem, bro. Sit your ass down on a bench. That's how the term "sit your ass on a bench" came about. Sit your ass on a bench. You are the problem. No one else. You. Start looking at you. Look at the man in the mirror. Okay? Now, how's she telling us about the fact that he gonna get another woman and he gonna treat her better? I'm gonna love you better. And she gonna say, I'm gonna treat my man better too. Why don't you treat your man better now? And why doesn't he treat you better now?
But why? Because you're doing that because of what you've learned from this marriage. And I will equally do the same when I meet my person, whenever that may be. No time soon. Get out of my DMs. But
no time soon. Get out my DMs is crazy work. It's crazy work. The humble brag, not the humble brag, and not that I'm not like most women as well. Sis, you definitely 28, but you're young. You definitely 28, but you're young. You got the humble brag, and Not her telling us about the DMs that I'm gonna be all right. Listen, don't ever get it twisted, man or woman. By the way, whether you're a man or a woman, don't ever get it twisted about your DMs. They are not real attention. I want to make it very clear. Your DMs don't mean that you're getting real attention. Listen, out here in the streets, we robbing niggas. Sorry, I shouldn't say. I went too far, Lord. I'm sorry. The jokes went too far. I'm sorry, Lord. I'm sorry. But what I meant to say is that on these streets, we're saying the most right now. But that's how you get used. Okay? That's how you get used. You're going to end up in Egypt. You're going to end up in Egypt, and you're going to find out like the rest of the people. See, if this was a situation where the man was bad and you making that decision, I'll be like, sis, you know what? You got to find out for yourself and see it. You got to leave. You still got to do what you got to do. But when you're leaving because you don't realize you're the problem, you about to be in a few situations, sis. You about to be in a few situations. Okay? Because if you don't learn that lesson quickly, darling, because when you see, if you learn the lesson, it will hit you and you'll be like, damn, I should have quit the marriage. Let me go back. Anyway.
I'd only be able to do that with the knowledge and life lessons of this marriage. So when he meets Shakira, Samira, Sally, I'm making up names, whoever it is, and he treats her great. I want that for him. I don't want him to be miserable. Why would he? If he's miserable, he's going to put that misery into my kids. He doesn't want me miserable because I'll put that misery into my kids. We just want what's best for our kids. Hence the reason why it's taken a year to even, or over a year to even talk about it. So yeah, it's been a while. You're all probably going to troll back through all my content now and actually realize I'm telling the truth. It's been over a year since I solicited this divorce. And another thing that I do want to say as well, when I asked for the divorce, we still wore our rings. We still wore the rings to avoid any questions, just because we never said don't tell anybody, but we just wanted to navigate it privately before whatever. We still wore our rings. What happened to my ring when I shared it all with you on TikTok about me damaging it and breaking the center stone actually happened. And let me tell you, it was a relief because I thought, thank God. I think I would still have that ring on in 40 years' time. I would have been like, can't take it off, won't take it off. It got damaged and I thought, thank God. Now we don't even have to lie. Paul's not got on his ring anymore. I don't have on my ring. You all know we're getting divorced. We're not angry at each other. I don't know why you're all angry at me. And I do want to say, everyone who is all the people in the comments giving me like racial abuse, coming for my looks, coming for who I am, coming for my motherhood. Genuinely, one, you're saying you're doing it to protect him. Anyone who likes and protects him would never insult him over his children like that. Is insane.
I agree. Anybody who's commenting, by the way, any man, especially if you're out there, don't be pathetic, okay? And message this woman and message nasty things. I want to be very, very clear here. If you are a man and you are pathetic, I want to call you out. Please don't be pathetic. Do not message her nasty comments, hateful comments. Like, you are pathetic if you do that. I don't like men or women do that, but specifically men, I just need you to be very clear. It's pathetic. If you enter people's DMs where they hate stuff and go this, like, you are pathetic. Get a life. Get a life. I don't care what this woman's done. Get a life. And don't try to use the fact that you're trying to protect the husband. That's why you get a mother freaking life. Honestly, it's sad and it's pathetic. You need to rise from your echelon of behind your phone and gather yourself a life. You know what I'm saying? I don't like that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Like, that's for the birds. You know what I mean? That's for the birds. Allow it.
It's just insane. But two, I swear, nothing that you've ever, no comment thus far has impacted me. It's because it's so far from the truth. So please say.
Then if it didn't impact you, why you even mention it, sis? Why you even mention it? Listen, some of the hate comments, they get to me. I can't lie to you. They get to me. I ain't gonna lie to you. Sometimes I read a comment, I'm like, damn, you really think that I'm... Someone said to me the other day, I was on TikTok Live, and it was like, there's someone on TikTok Live, yeah? I was doing a TikTok Live on attachment styles. We had like 250 people in a room. It's the most we've ever had, right? And then there's somebody in the chat, some dude, who says he's been doing this attachment work for 10 years. Now, I'm just, I don't want to call out his name, but I'm just going to say what it was. He's like, he doesn't want to bring me up because he doesn't, he wants to have all the limelight. Negro, what the frick? I was hurt by that. I can't lie to you. I just ignored it, but I was hurt by it. I can't lie to you. That's what I'm talking about right now. I was hurt by it. I was like, wait, I'm being a narc by having my own platform that I'm helping people that we had 0 people on the live over 5 months we've had to get to before we get to 250 people on a live where we're talking about attachment styles. And I asked for people who have a problem. I don't want people to come and give us their long monologue. If you've got a question, come and ask it. But because I don't want to invite you up to come and tell us about the fact that you've got a job and help me out with my own thing I'm doing, I'm now a narc. I said, oh damn, can't win. Even the Negroes, I was hurt by that. I ain't gonna lie to you. I was a little bit hurt by that. I can't lie to you. I was a little bit hurt by that. I didn't like that. You know what I'm saying to you? I had to go away and pray and say, Lord, am I a narc? I get a little bit sensitive sometimes. I'm like, am I a narc, Lord? I just sometimes think, I was like, am I crazy? No. I have to be honest with myself. I ask myself sometimes, are you crazy? Lord, am I crazy? I said, Lord, if I'm just a little crazy, just let me know, So it affects us all. Like, you do this job long enough, it will affect you. Like, it's natural. Like, you know what I'm saying to you? But the reason you mention it is because it did affect you. Same way I mentioned it. It does affect you. You know what I mean? I know you want to be like water for ducks back. The manosphere got it. It's long. It's long. If the manosphere got it, it's long. If the manosphere got it, because they're gonna drop like woman divorces man over 10 years, a good man, but then they get it. I can't deal with them.
your data because it's a waste of time. However, we are giggling at you all because, I mean, not all of you, but the people who are like, she's ruined his life is... Okay, you get the concept, right? But what I do want to say is everyone who has been in my situation, who started feeling the weight of their marriage and it not necessarily, you know, being healthy for them anymore, it's never too late to walk away, and it's never too late to walk away in a healthy way either. Sometimes I feel like because we've chosen marriage, and this is what I felt before I asked for divorce, you almost feel like you can't go back now. There's people who have come to me being like, I'm so proud of you. Why? Because you're married. My grandma would say to me, you know, I'm so proud of you. Why? Because you're married. Grandma, I've done so many greater things than marriage, but it's just a societal thing where it's just like, because you're married, because you're married, because you're married. No, I am technically still married. I won't be married.
So let me say this, both for the men and for the women. Okay, so anybody also say for the men and for the women, relationships, marriages, they're very difficult. Okay, all right. Relationships and marriages, they're very difficult. They're not easy to do. Okay. And what I would say is, in a marriage and in a relationship, whichever it is, okay, you have to hold a mirror up to yourself all the time. Like, I'm not saying you can't complain, and I'm not saying you can't feel no type of way. What I'm saying to you is, before you want to catch them and tell them they are, I want you to always first and foremost look at you first. This is what I do in coaching on a regular basis. It's always about, what is it that you are bringing to that table? How are you showing up? How are you impacting this relationship? What do you bring? Okay. And so we have to really understand that in order to really be able to flourish, you have to look at you first. Because sometimes you look at the other person and you go, they're doing this, they're doing that, they're doing this, and you don't realize it's actually highlighting you. And it's a very humbling moment. Whether you're married, whether you're in a relationship, you've all been here before, I'm sure, right? I know my audience are very astute and very self-aware. We've all been in that moment where we've said something, right? And it's been about, they do this, they do that, they do that. And then when you look, and when someone says something to you, or you clock it yourself, and you're like, oh, the way I was talking to them, that's why they were acting the way they were doing. And that made them, and it becomes a cycle. And you realize that you're part of the cycle. It humbles you. Because you're like, oh, I didn't realize. Many of us don't feel very empowered in relationships because we're not taught about some of the resources or the tools that we can use in order to talk to people. On my other channel, LBB 91 Coaching, we did a whole 4 weeks worth of coaching around how men and women should talk to each other. There is a language. Both how men and how women talk to each other is important, right? So I did a whole 4 weeks, and we'll do another whole set of it again on YouTube. We'll go back to it, but I'm just doing attachment stuff right now. We'll go back to it again and talk about how men and women should talk to each other, because how a man talks to a man is not how he should talk to a woman, and how a woman talks to a woman is not how she talks to a man. They deal with things differently. So when you don't learn some of these critical skills, you get annoyed because you're thinking to yourself, I'm doing right and they're doing wrong. And some of the lessons that God has even shown me, I'm like, damn. I thought I was still, even now I'm like, oh, I think I'm good. And then he'll show me something. I'm like, damn, you know what? I hear you, Lord. I'm still working on that. You know what? I'm still working on that. It humbles you, and it puts you to a place where you stop rushing and going at full speed. Okay. All right. It gets to a place where you don't rush full speed, and you don't say instantly the other person's an issue. Right now, of course, I discussed her particular aspect. I'm sure there's things on his side, this gentleman, that he's doing too. There's stuff that probably, in terms of, I think he's probably got a dismissive avoidant. I think he's got some dismissive avoidance. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think he has. I know we saw a very secure man, but I think we got a little bit of that dismissive avoidance, right? And the reason why I say that is because the fact he hasn't called her out about the way she speaks for that long, the secure person, if they're going to be in a marriage with somebody like that, they'll have called it out a long time, because their needs are very important to them. And that's why I always say to people, some people believe they're really secure, and I'm like, hey. A lot of you are not secure. You think you're secure, but you're not that secure, right? And it's like, I got into a relationship, I'm no longer secure. No, darling, you were never secure. Okay, come and join us. You weren't secure in the first place, okay? Secure people are able to tell you what their wants and their needs are. They're not angels, but they can tell you what their wants and needs are. They will let you know what their boundaries are. They will let you know this doesn't work for them. They'll let you know that this works for them. They are very communicative. And I noticed the stats tell us that 50% of the world are usually more secure. Maybe they are, but I'll tell you this now. It feels like there's a lot less people that are secure, if I'm honest with you. Because I think the rest of the other people that are insecure don't tell the truth about how they really are moving in relationships. This young lady here, she'll tell you that she's not the problem. So I think it's very important that for both men and women that we learn this. Man of Prestige, shout out to Man of Prestige as well. I watch his content, man. Shout out to Man of Prestige. He's also married as well, and he gives some great content as well. Shout out to Man of Prestige. I need to reach out to you so we can do some content as well. You know, men getting together and just talking about marriage is very important, especially for the men to learn critical skills as well. So shout out to Man of Prestige. But yeah, no, it's again. So it's just like it's important that we learn these things, right? And so there are these things. So we'll do some more videos on this. But I wanted to do this particular one because I was like, I could see it straight away. I said, I saw that video and I went to research. I actually watched it 2 days ago and I said, and then I saw Public Offender and I was like, okay, I like what he did with it, but I think he can go, I think I can go deeper with it. I think there's something else happening. So let me go and research. And then I saw, and I said, oh, damn, our good sis is out here and she's not realizing that she should be a bit more self-aware. But listen, hey, we're gonna like, we're gonna share, we're gonna subscribe, we're gonna click on that wonderful bell button. I want to say thank you again, Rochelle. Thank you for the 100. Thank you for the 50. Thank you for the 50 again. I really appreciate the Lord is using you as always. And thank you for the gifted to the rest of the people. It's good to give, as they say, you know, and I appreciate that. Thank you very much, Rochelle, for your contributions as well to this. Make sure you guys are liking, you're sharing, subscribing. I'll probably be back a little bit later on. I'll drop some small other videos as well around this. So make sure you guys are liking, you're sharing, and you're subscribing. Click on that wonderful bell button. Oh, if you're out here and if anything this here touched you and you're like, you know what, this is me, or I'm suffering with something similar, I want you guys to know my coaching is open. Okay, all right. My coaching, we're fully ready to go now. You know what I mean? All hands on deck. I say that I've got limited spaces still. You know what I mean? I have to be sensible with my energy. But if you're looking for coaching, this time to join and really get on board. Let's start growing, healing, transforming in 2025. You know, it's an honor to be able to help you guys on that journey. So if you're needing coaching, the link is down below in the description box. It's only one link now. I've made it one link because I want you guys, first and foremost, also want to let you know, if you are going to book with me, unless you already know me and know what I'm about, please, if you're going to book with me, do a discovery call first. It's free. Book a discovery call first. The reason why I'm saying, and I need to change my banner. That would be smart, wouldn't it, as well? Please, before you book a session, if you haven't already done so already, book a discovery call. Because what I want you to understand is, I want you to know how I operate so that you know what you're getting into first, right? So that you know what you're going to get and what you're coming into. Because, you know, the coaching might not be for everybody. You know what I'm saying to you? Okay, so if you're around and you're here and you want to start coaching, please book a discovery call first, half an hour. Let's talk. Let's see what you want to achieve, and let's see if we can achieve it together. I'll honestly be honest with you. If I can do it, I'll be honest with you. I can do it. If I can't do it, can't do it. I'm having married couples reach out to me as well. So shout out to you guys as well. If you're married already, please still book a discovery call. Okay, if you're here and you know me, book a discovery call. Again, it's free. It's just so I can assess what you want and what you need and what you need to achieve, and we can go about that as well. Okay, all right. So shout out to you guys who are also joining us for that. All right, make sure you guys like, share, subscribe. My time is up. I appreciate y'all. Still up, saluted. We'll see you again soon.